All right, greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Buster Wolf podcast. This is the wrap up for the end of the year, and I realized that we haven't done a podcast in 4 months, so I had to collect all the news, new fighting game reveals. Fucking Virtua Fighter has me hyped to heaven, and we're gonna get right into it. So, my name is Renegade Operative, and I'm going to introduce my panel. First, we have Andre.
Yo, howdy. What's up? It's been hot, man, since we've done like a legit podcast, but I'm glad we're doing it again. Gonna be talking about a lot of fighting game stuff. A lot of great news and some pretty big stuff, so be looking forward to that.
Next, we have Hades. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, man. A lot of interesting fighting game stuff going on right now, so it's a good thing.
Rad, how about you? Introduce yourself, good sir.
Hi there. Less talk, more action.
Oh, you're talking about my favorite character now that I completely got 20 wins with in the beta. Jackie's so fun. I just don't understand why people just can't counter him, but we're gonna get into that pretty soon. And last but not least, we have Kaneki.
Oh boy, I can't wait to play. I can't wait to talk about the excitement that is the return of Virtua Fighter. You know, the original 3D fighting game. Main man.
See, shots fired being thrown already, goddamn. But we're gonna start this with the first question. Obviously, gonna be the highlights so far. We're gonna jump right into it. They recently announced Virtua Fighter 6 being done by RGG Studios, the same team behind, the Yakuza games and everything, and I want to get people's opinion on what they thought about this snippet of gameplay and the overall reveal itself, and I want to go with Rat first.
Okay, so this game has some type of fancy dodge to it. Like, there's a somersault kick in there, and character just sort of slides out of the way, not like sidestep, but as if instantly reacts to it. It's like, man, Virtua Fighter is back. It looks so nice. I was not expecting it to be shown at the Game Awards, but the best game deserves the biggest stage. Thank you, Sega, for this bountiful, not so much surprise, because we knew a Virtua Fighter was in development. I just didn't think you'd be showing your face so soon.
Kaneki, what about you? It is your turn. What do you think of Virtua Fighter 6?
Is it out yet?
No, not yet, unfortunately. Fuck.
You see, that's the only issue, man. That's how hyped this game is. Oh man. How long have you been waiting since Virtua Fighter's a 6? Well, I don't know if they're gonna call it a 6, but it has to be a 6 because if you look at the snippet gameplay and the trailer they shown, that man is old. Akira, even when you see the snippet gameplay, which is, by the way, 10 out of 10, because RGG is not the only one that's making the game. They also have the original Virtua Fighter team on board, so the fact that they're working together to make the new Virtua Fighter is something I'm really actually excited for, and can't wait to see what else they have for in the tables for the new Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, they are saying that it's been 18 years because Virtua Fighter 5 came out.
Jesus.
Yeah, that came out in 2008. So
After 10,000 years, I'm free.
Hades, what about you? What do you think of this reveal so far?
I couldn't be happier, honestly, because I've kind of realized about myself that when it comes to 3D fighters, I'm a Virtua Fighter guy. I like Soul Calibur, and I think Tekken's okay, but Virtua Fighter is always what I've been at heart, and I'm just happy for it to finally be back, The only thing that concerns me that I've seen so far is I see that little meter under the life bar, and I'm kind of scared at what it could be. I think it's just a guard meter, but other than that,
Yeah, I'll give my opinion real quick. I think that it's due time, obviously. It is no shocker considering what Rad said, where it's like we knew this was coming. Sega was like in the process of like rebooting and retooling and making sequels and a lot of new stuff for like their older IPs. So which is why a lot of people are saying, oh, they're back. Sonic is doing really good now as well, so this couldn't be the best time to bring back Virtua Fighter because they are in such goodwill right now. It's just the next logical step when we saw that gameplay. When I was watching it though, I don't know if it's me, but I get the weird feeling this game is going to be a little bit faster than 5 because like I don't know, the movement just looked way faster. I'm like, oh, they want to get casuals into the series or whatever. They said they're going to try, but I just doubt it with how fast you can move. It's absolutely insane. I did see the meter with the screenshot that was leaked on Reddit. I don't know, man. Hopefully it's not supers. I don't think they need supers in this game or at all in Virtua Fighter, but I'm hoping that, and one of my speculations was, maybe this is going to be the new guard stagger that we had in the series where the meter's like there to have a visual representation as opposed to like wiggling the sticks around, you know, constantly. At least you know now when it's probably going to come, and I think that'd be the better solution overall. But in my honest opinion, this was like super hype. As soon as it was coming, I was like, what is this? And people were saying they knew what it was immediately. I did not know until the logo like flashed up, and I was just like, oh fuck, we're going back to this. My friend was saying, oh, Virtua Fighter's hard. I couldn't get into it. It's like, yeah. So hopefully the same principle still applies to this game. Andre, what about you? What do you think of this reveal for Virtua Fighter 6?
Very excited. I am super happy that Virtua Fighter is coming back. It's been a very long time. And you know something with Virtua Fighter coming back, it's kind of crazy. And I think I said this on Twitch. I think we're living in a period where like a lot of franchises are making these big returns, like you know Onimusha, Okami, stuff like that. And to see Virtua Fighter return is pretty insane. I really love what I see of like a little snippet of the gameplay. It definitely feels really fast. From what I heard, apparently the graphics they're using for it is apparently like different from like the graphics the Yakuza games use versus the Dragon Engine. So that's gonna be really interesting. But I'm very excited to see. Definitely can't wait to see for more when this comes out. I don't know when it'll come out. I guess maybe a few years from now, but hopefully it comes out and blows everyone away, which I think it will.
I'm thinking maybe early 2027 at best. I just have a strong feeling that's when it's probably going to near, or we'll get more information like later next year. That's going to be pretty exciting. But we have some information here. What do you guys think of like the looks of Akira and Stella? And apparently this character is not Sarah Bryant. I'm reading this. They did like an interview and they said veterans will not be disappointed, but it is not her. All will be understood when time comes. Rad, I'm gonna let you go first.
This was a living Mandela effect for me because I saw the initial trailer. It's Akira, and is that Sarah? It's totally Sarah. Oh, that's so. Of course, it's Sarah. And I watched the Virtua Fighter Direct where they showed the models of Akira looking very hobo-ish and has clothing, and then they showed Sarah, and oh, she looks just like Sarah. Who the hell is Stella?
I just don't know what they're. I have a opinion on this, but I'm gonna wait until it's my turn. Rad, do you have anything else to add for this?
Yeah, okay. So theory time. Judging by the oldness of Akira, we're moving forward. But seeing as Sarah is trying to be Nina Williams, I guess I'm willing to guess J6 got a hold of her and like brainwashed her again to the point that they gave her a new identity so that she's Stella now. And yeah, look at you, Virtua Fighter, trying to have a plot like that hasn't blown up in your face before.
Rad took my theory. Paul. Okay.
I'm guessing that's a common theory going around.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be brainwashed. She was apparently brainwashed before they wanted her to be the metal chick, before she was saved. So I'm assuming they're gonna probably do this again. I I
Please
don't know.
God, no.
It feels like that whole thing with DOA where they do the Hayate Ain thing where he loses his memory or whatever, but he fights different, but it's the same character. I don't really like that stuff, but I get why, but I'm not really too much of a fan, so I assume they're gonna do it in that direction.
Yeah, it's really weird. I don't know how they're doing it because like I don't know. I'm just not really. It's like the same character, but they're really not the same character. I'm not really a fan of that. But maybe they'll explain it when they more over time.
Yeah, explain it, that's fine, but I'm not a fan of the whole, well, it's them, but not really, but they're brainwashed, and they might have some differing moves. That's the only thing I'm looking forward to, is the differing moves, hopefully in gameplay, or maybe personality, I don't know, but I'm still kind of hoping that you can swap back to regular Sarah if you want to, and just play as that. I mean, at least you could do that in DOA with the different characters, so I'm fine with that. Hades. Oh,
Alternatively, we get two characters. We get old-looking Stella and new-looking character design Sarah. Like Hayate and Ain would be separate characters in Dead or Alive 5, for example.
yeah. So I guess they can do something like that, maybe like a skin swap, swap it around. But I'm not really the biggest fan of this concept. I guess if I go really quickly, yeah, that's what I think of it. I think they could have just kept it to what the characters were, but Akira looks like really old. And how do I feel about his costume? I guess it makes sense for him to have like his hair out. Maybe something happened to him, could be a story there, but overall I did see like another alternate of him with like he didn't have any shirt on whatsoever. He was wearing his gi, but he had no shirt. So it just tells me that there's going to be costumes, a lot of costumes in this game, hopefully customization, where it came from. Like, you know, Virtua Fighter 5 is a good basis where they had like a ton of stuff you could put on your character and make them look different. So hopefully that comes back into this game. Overall, I don't have a problem with any of the models. I guess if they were doing this whole Stella thing, she looks exactly like the old Sarah Bryant. At least give her like a differing amount of clothes or whatever, or a differing outfit. But hey, if you want to go with this route, make her look the same with the costume she has, that's fine. But overall, the models look good. I have no complaints whatsoever. I'm all for old man Akira, to be honest. Hades, what about you? What do you think of the new character looks with Stella and Akira?
I kind of love Akira's new look, honestly. He looks like something out of like a old kung fu movie, honestly. I could see Jackie Chan dressed like that, beating people up. And as for I mean, Stella looks great. She just looks like old Sarah, though. You know what I mean? I I think though, I think she's just like a Dural clone, just masquerading as Sarah, basically, but with that name, you know.
That's
Like
one
we're
of my
gonna
theories you took.
like we're gonna well, thank God I got it out first. But I don't know, maybe you fight her at a point and you like clobber her so hard you like, I don't know, like scrape off some of the skin and you see like the shiny metal reflection underneath and it's like, oh my God, she's like a Terminator, you know what I mean?
Kaneki, what about you?
Like perfecting the Dural thing, because was Dural always meant to just be a shiny mirror being? I would have assumed they would put like human skin over it at some point, you know what I mean?
One of the
I gotta stop saying that.
I swear one of the endings, it was Virtua Fighter 2. It's a secret ending where you see the skin peel off of Kage's mom. So maybe this could be the reverse effect where it's like she takes on the appearance of fighters, and it could be like a sale thing where, oh, I could take your energy or I could take your appearance anytime I want, and it'll be the new advance like J6 technology, I guess. But Kaneki, what do you have to say about this?
Here's my 0.1% chance theory right here, right? What if Stella is related to Sarah, in terms of blood.
So like maybe a daughter or
Either a daughter or a long lost sister that we never heard of till this
Clone.
game.
No, don't give me the kids route. That gives me bad flashbacks.
Soul Calibur? Soul Calibur?
I
No,
don't know
Virtua
if
Fighter Kids.
Virtua Fighter.
We
Kids.
have the Virtua Fighter kids. It's good.
I do. I'm just saying that's when you say kids with Virtua Fighter, that's what I think of, and their big ass heads.
Actually, no. Paula DOA 6, the worst story decision they ever do. Like Ayane and fucking Hanukkah being related.
Oh, so retcon, like they're twins.
Hey,
Yeah.
if they're quote unquote rebooting this, right? Because there's no 6 in the title. They're gonna do something.
Make it a clone, which is the worst thing you could possibly do. I that is a direction I don't want them to go in.
I mean, how else they're doing this? It's clearly not fucking brainwashing her again, if that's the case.
I would rather have her be an advanced cyborg than a clone, because the clone thing is like the laziest fucking thing you could do. It's like, I didn't like it when they kept doing it in KOF either. I was like, all the Kyo clones, yay! I don't like the storyline.
Now I'm curious though, why they keep trying to brainwash Sarah? Like, is she their always priority to clone, like to make the perfect fighter for the role?
I liked when they tried to make a variant of Vanessa, when they tried to do a Doral Vanessa thing. I think that is a lot more interesting, which is surprising.
Yeah.
They didn't go with that.
Because before, what was it? I think after the fact they rescue Sarah, I think in Virtua Fighter 2, if you played Kage and beat his entire arcade, there's an ending where one of the Duals was his mother.
Yep.
Can they bring that story back?
See, that I wouldn't mind. I just wish they would do more stuff with it. But I don't know. Maybe Virtual Fighter should stay simple, because the story was never the strong suit. What about you, Andre? What do you think of this?
Of the new character. You're talking about the new looks. Akira's look, I really like. Honestly, it feels very different, but it feels also like a natural progression, because if they're going in the future, they definitely look a lot older and dress very different. It kind of reminds me of Street Fighter 6 counter. Ken is definitely more rugged, kind of like a giant Lawrence sort of way, but he still wears like the red gi pants. So it's like there's still semblance of Ken. It's just, he's a lot more weary now, and I really like Akira's look. As for Stella, well, Sarah, I don't know, but I mean, it's kind of weird that they're trying to, Tyra's like a new character, which, I mean, I don't know why, because Virtua Fighter never really had like the deepest story in like fighting games, but whatever. But overall, I did really like the character designs what I've seen so far, and the game does visually look really nice. I want to know what graphics I should know for it. That's all I really gotta say on the matter.
Yeah, even in the screenshot, they posed that as a question that I posted in chat about Lao. It's like, they said there will be a mix of new and old characters, and they said, what will happen to Lao or Shun? I hope you look forward to that too, which sounds ominous to me, but I still kind of hope they're in the game just in some fashion. I don't even care at this rate if they're fucking just old as shit. Just put them in there so I can step on people with Lao. That's pretty great. We're gonna move on to the next question, and that's Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. So they had a beta test recently on Steam for PC with this game, testing out the rollback and everything, and they had a massive update for Virtua Fighter 5 in general. Like, you could do rework combos, revamp like hit effects, and there is balance updates. Have you participated in this update? If so, what do you think about it? Rad, I want you to go first.
I kind of had a poor time with Revo PC, especially online. I don't know what it was, but the few matches I did play, it just sort of like jumped as if there was like a record skip. But I know this is kind of the team's first major foray into an online fighting game, and that's an entirely different department for them. I really hope they do iron out the kinks, because Virtua Fighter definitely could use a break before we get to the new one. But little disappointing. It's probably my shitbox laptop, but I don't have good impressions for it. Still have to play the PlayStation version because they supposedly got the rebalance, and that's primarily what I play Virtua Fighter on. So looking forward to seeing what that is like.
Okay, I have some experience with this. I played for like a good few hours on PC. I think it was fine for the most part. I didn't get any sort of bad matches, maybe except one where a guy kind of teleported behind me. That was weird. Jackie teleported behind me, but other than that, it ran fine for me. I'm surprised it even worked on my PC, considering that I thought this game would be just a lot more intensive, but it worked just fine. So I might migrate to this version when it comes out, and the fact that it was like $15 was like, okay, I might as well just go ahead, pick it up and see how it is, because I did like 5 a lot from what I saw. So really, in my personal opinion, no big issues there. Mostly I've been laughing at the subreddit of Virtua Fighter because I've seen laggy matches that are, I was like, oh, I'm seeing frame skips all over the place, people teleporting like fucking 5 frames per second. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But I didn't have that much of a bad experience. But maybe at launch things will be different, and I'll have a differing opinion next year when we come back. We'll have to see what happens. Kaneki, it is your turn. What do you think of Revo on PC?
Outside of the few matches where it was mixed, but that was because the majority of players, I'm going to say this right now, the majority of the players I fought in my matches on the beta, I guarantee you they were playing on a computer that is from 2000, because all I see is fucking teleports left and right. And I can tell it's definitely not the netcode, because the field that I fought that actually had a great computer and actually had a stable connection, it was beautiful. So right away, I can definitely tell it's not the netcode itself. It's more so people's computers apparently can't handle Virtua Fighter 5. I'm surprised the fact that my laptop can even handle it. It's basically like Virtua Fighter, from what I played, it's basically like Virtua Fighter 5 on PlayStation, but on PC. The I couldn't find much matches as much as I want to because the lobbies were full. Like if you try to find someone in the lobby, good luck. It was full. Everybody was playing that beta. So hopefully they do something where they put more in the lobbies, because I could not find one room. Also, I pre-ordered the $40 edition. You know, the one that's gonna give you the costumes and the Sega consoles for the custom items, so you can wear that shit on your back.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the costume thing. Maybe I might get that version. I guess we'll see. Hades, have you played this version? Or no?
I played a tiny bit of the PC version. I didn't get in as much as I would like, unfortunately, because working and stuff. But it ran perfectly fine for me, which was nice. I didn't have any like graphical issues or anything, and I don't know, matches went okay. I didn't really have like super laggy experiences like you guys, or fortunately. So yeah, it was an alright one overall. I'm sure they'll work out everything before it's released in like a couple months, but we'll see.
1 month actually.
Yep, it comes out in January.
Couple weeks then. Let me amend the statement.
Yep, January is coming. Also, Kaneki, you were saying something else?
I don't think so. I'm just excited that it's gonna be on PC. I can't wait to see what the mods community will do about this game.
Every character will probably be fucking Butterball naked or something like that. I just already expect it. So shit is getting bad.
No, you will see CJ as one of the characters.
You know what?
And
I'll take that.
Can you mod in the Tekken outfits from Ultimate Showdown?
You know what? They'll probably do that. I don't know why they
'Cause
didn't include that.
I don't think Revo's getting them.
Yeah, I don't think they're.
That's the only difference.
Those costumes might be out of the equation now I think about it. That's a shame, but well, at least the modders will probably have our back, so we will definitely see what happens near launch. We'll definitely picking this one up for sure. We're moving on to the next question because I know Andre hasn't played Revo, but we have Clive in Tekken. That was the reveal for him, and he is going to be the final character. He is out now, by the way. So I'm going to ask people if they have played as him and Heihachi as well, and overall, what is the consensus on those two characters and this pass in general? And I'm going to go with Kaneki first.
You see, when Heihachi came out first, before Clive, I thought, man, Heihachi has to be the strongest DLC character, even for a Tekken DLC character, and not just from like a guest character standpoint. Oh, so far he's like one of the strongest character for DLC because it's Heihachi, right? But where he has like different moves, but also has like old moves, but even in more powerful forms in a way. Like they buff his old moves recently to where now it's even more effective than when it was when he was out. No, Clive decided to come out and said, "Listen, I'm Noctis, but better." And I'm like, "Noctis, but better? How so?" Well, if I'm not mistaken, there is a combo where he almost immediately has like a touch of death. But I don't know if there is a touch of death combo for Clive already. And one of his attacks, I kid you not, he has like the fucking judgment cut move, like to end off of a crazy ass single combo, which I did not know. I don't know if that was part of the DLC from Final Fantasy 16 that I never play of, but I don't know what made them decide. Let's have every sword character decide to do Virgil's judgment cut, like all of a sudden.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that is an actual move that he can do in the game because he gets a lot of ridiculous fucking weapons and econs that, literally speaking, it is. By the time I got like to the middle of the game, I was doing 8,000 combos on people. I'm not even joking. So I'm not surprised he is the way that he is. Odin econ, yeah, just everything that I saw, even the little bird thing that he gets and he's hitting people with it, I'm like, yeah, that was completely in the game. I want to go real quick for what I think of this pass in general, because I have not played as Clive or Heihachi, so I'm going to speak from a POV of like interest. I think it's half and half so far. I know we talked to Maniac, shout out to Maniac in the server, and I kind of fully agree with him on the perception of this pass. Like Eddie and Lydia to me is meh, in my opinion. It's like, okay, it's whatever. And then Heihachi and Clive is like, okay, that's a really good pick so far. I know there was rumors saying, oh well, maybe it's gonna be Ichiban, and I was just like, I don't think that works in terms of like hype. Maybe for like Virtua Fighter now, considering the RGG is like working on it and they can have those characters in there from Yakuza. But I'm very happy that they got a Final Fantasy rep because I guess it just makes sense. I also understand the Tifa frustrations. Look, I still think she needs to be in the game. I'm not one of those people that hates the concept of Tifa. Like some people don't want her to be in or whatever, but I'm just like, you know what? Fuck yeah, man. I'm all for it. I hope she's like in year 2. That would be amazing to me if they get that character, because it makes perfect sense to get like 2 popular people, and you got the recent game and you got like the remake rebirth. So I'm all for it. But I am 50-50 on this. Obviously Heihachi's like a staple at this point. I've seen cutscenes of this DLC. I have not played it, but the way they save him is stupid. It's just, I'm not gonna lie. You think he's gonna go in the volcano, and then last minute some shadowy cult figure from the past
Hold
comes
on.
and retrieves him. Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta interject real quick. I am sorry for what I'm about to say, to Tifa fans out there. Fuck that bitch. We need Akira to promote Virtua Fighter in Tekken. We couldn't even fucking do that, bro.
I don't mind crossovers. I'm still all for that. If they, because that means that, hey, people are like, oh well, maybe Virtua Fighter is gonna dethrone Tekken. I don't think that's gonna happen, but if they complement each other with some promotion, that kind of helps both games. So I think that's the best solution overall. I think that year 2 needs to really step it up for sure, and they need to make it exciting. Like, I don't think it should be like all caked with guest characters, but it needs some form of excitement like right out of the gate before I start really caring. Like, if they put in a Fakaram or something, I'm gonna shake my head and put my head in a fryer batch or something like that. I'm just not gonna be as excited. Just bring back like an older character that's cool, or a cool guest character, and mix it up a little bit. Like Street Fighter's passes, in my opinion, recently have been perfect. So that's honestly the way that it needs to be done. We're gonna move on to Red. What do you think of this whole topic of Clive and Heihachi and the overall consensus of this pass?
I just want to say for the record, I was Team Tifa for the longest time. Not that I have any type of affection, I'm an Aerith man myself, but Tifa in Tekken just makes so much flippin' sense. If you've seen how she plays in remake/rebirth, she is doing some technical Tekken nonsense. So obviously it makes sense, but obviously sales are not on that game's side. If you can believe it, Final Fantasy 16 sold more than Rebirth. So here comes
sir.
here comes Clive, and surprise, surprise, the 16 staff are Tekken fans. So not only that, there is one good thing we got out of this Clive character. Your male and female characters have Joshua and Jill outfits in the shop. And that is a good thing, because it's another outfit for my Lily self. So there's that. As for Clive himself, he's basically got Odin on a bar. You'll get your Zantetsuken, but boy, you gotta earn it. You gotta know what moves to level up, and you gotta be a little more direct with your game plan when it comes to Clive. He's not really triangle button go brrr like Lydia, sorry. But I don't know. Heihachi is Heihachi. Oh boy, I sure do love a character with like 30 different kinds of armor on his moves, so that you can't actually hit him. It's like, no, I've actually hit you. You activated one of my many armors. I've never been a Mishima player, so Heihachi is whatever. It's like, you lied multiple times. There's conveniently a monk there to save him. You remember the Tekken monks? No, you don't. So yeah, Heihachi's there. Clive is fine. I need to fight more of them. I haven't had too much time to play Tekken recently, only to do Clive's little combo trials and kind of understand what I am going to be looking forward to for the next month when I play the game online eventually. So, not the best addition, but move over, Yoshimitsu. You are no longer the most Soul Calibur character to be in Tekken.
Andre, what about you? What do you think of Clive and Heihachi and this whole story of him coming back for Heihachi?
Well, all I gotta say is when you fight Clive, expect to hear "this ends now," and then fucking Zanzu sets can come. I'm like, oh my god. Okay, so I don't really. Oh my god, yo, perfect. I don't have too much of an issue with Clive joining. I'll be honest, when Clive joined, I was like, that's it's actually pretty cool. I'm not against this. Like, I know a lot of people want a Tifa, and I do kind of understand to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, FF16 was really popular, you know, and shit. And it's like, I mean, why not put Clive? You know, it's like, it's kind of like when they put Noctis in Tekken 7. 15 was really popular at the time, but, so I haven't played Clive. I fought a ton of them all, and he's definitely very aggressive. His kid is very well around. Like, he's got a lot of options, like, from, like, besides Odin, he's got Torgal, he's got Phoenix Shift, the little dash thing, he's got Ramu, he's got Garuda, Shiva, Titan, and basically all of his icon powers from Final Fantasy 16. And I do think like he's actually pretty fun to fight. Like I actually do like fighting him. I don't get really annoyed with him because it's like with all these like moves he's got, and it's definitely, you know, and stuff like that. And plus, you know, I do really like his little interactions with like the other characters, like, you know, when he interacts with Rain, and Rain asks him if he's he's into cosplay, and Clive literally says, "Cosplay, huh?" Should talk to Hippocrates about this, which really funny little nod to the game. But overall, I don't mind Clive's inclusion. I do like him in the game. As for Heihachi, technically I played him a little bit in the Forgotten Echoes story mode, and he's okay. I never was really the biggest fan of Heihachi, like from a gameplay point of view. Like I don't know, he just never really did for me. I mean, I'm not a fan of him joining Tekken 8 because his story ended in 7, but I guess Arai was like, well, he survived death. He's okay. He just went into a coma, lost his memories. It's like, oh my god. But I don't have a man. Not like I said, I don't hate Heihachi's inclusion. Just not a fan of it. I mean, if you like playing him, that's fine, you know. But overall, though, if they do, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, if Geese comes back, it's whatever. I'm not gonna be mad, but it is what it is. Overall, if they do, I think they should only do like 2 guests. Don't do like 4 like Tekken 7. Like, if they do another guest, maybe do either, I don't know, Kyo or Iori from King of Fighters or something like that. Maybe also Akira would be cool too. But that's really all I gotta say on the matter.
Hades, what about you? What do you think of Clive in Tekken 8 and Heihachi?
Honestly, I haven't really played this thing. I'm not really a Tekken guy, but that's really underwhelming. I gotta be honest with you, because like I don't know what it is with fighting games and how they just kind of like refuse to let old villains go and like move forward. You know, I would have preferred Heihachi stay dead, honestly. Just like I would have preferred Bison to stay dead in Street Fighter 6, but we got to bring him back out of it for some ungodly reason. And I don't know. I'm definitely one of those. I'm definitely one of those Tifa guys. I think she would have been a far better pick as a DLC character. Honestly, looking at this whole Tekken like season pass, this might be. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic. I think it's one of the worst season passes I've ever seen for a fighting game. Honestly, just no reason, nothing to be excited there for, in my opinion. But
I'm 50-50, but I can totally see where you're coming from, where someone could look at like a season pass like this and go meh if they're not into like Final Fantasy or anything like that, or people coming back from the dead. I can see that perspective. Definitely. We talked about that before in the last podcast. Is it fine for a character to keep coming back like time in and time out again? Will they just stay dead? But I think they do this clearly because of hype. Again, Tekken 3 just felt like the only one, in my opinion, where people stayed dead and it made sense. But now they got to go wacky and bonkers with it. So part of me understands. The other part of me is just kind of like, I see where people are coming from. But
yeah, plus it's it's Eddie Gordo, who's a capoeira fighter no one wants to play against, and Lydia, who I think should have been base roster, honestly.
oh yeah, since she was in the last one, now they're telling you, hey, you got to pay for her. Which
Yeah,
I don't think she should have been a character, but hey.
They tried something new, and it just didn't stick with me for some reason. I don't know. I just would rather have them have the characters they have at the end of this pass and just move on to the second one, and hopefully they make it a lot more exciting. But we're gonna move on to number 5. Now, we missed out on this because I swear it happened after the last podcast. So they have Ken Masters and Chun Li in Garou City of the Wolves as guest characters. What do you think of this? And I will go first with Kaneki.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually, I'm not gonna lie, this is really expected because look what Capcom is doing with their season pass, with the current season pass. Terry and Mai in season 2, right? So SNK, we all know where this is leading to in the future. Capcom SNK 3, might as well pay the return the favor, right? And adding Ken and Chun Li in Garou Marks of the Wolf, City of the Wolf, sorry, as guest characters. I'm curious though how they're gonna be played in Garou City of the Wolves because I would never see them fit in a playstyle, especially like something like Garou. Because if you ever played Garou before, it's like Third Strike, but with instead of parrying forward, it's like what is that mechanic they call it? Perfect defense?
Just defense.
Just defense, yeah. And the playstyle, the way you do combos in that game is really strict. Like it's really hard to do. So I don't know how they're gonna do it with Ken and Chun Li, but I am excited of how they're gonna pull it off.
I'll go real quick. I think it's very exciting, and it's like Kaneki said, it's I scratch your back, you scratch my back, you put these characters in your game, and they can thrive, and people like them and enjoy them, and now we want the favor return. So Chun Li and Ken and this new Garou game, pretty exciting stuff. I do also think they're gonna collab in the future for more stuff in a fighting game. Is a no-brainer at this rate. And I mean, now is the perfect time to talk about this stuff, considering how Capcom wants to revive a lot of older franchises. And I saw the poll. The poll said that people do want some crossover fighters as well. That was an option. I'm sure that is coming 99.9% in the future, and they said they want to do this stuff at like high quality, high bar. It's a no-brainer. So if they do it, I'm very interested to see how 2026, 2027 is going to look like for Capcom fighting games and revivals. That being said, as for what kind of characters they will be, I don't know. In Chun Li's case, maybe she'll be a little bit keep away, and I think Ken will definitely be meter heavy because they have a lot of like meter emphasis in the new Garou, which means it's going to be perfect for Ken, considering he's going to be rushing people down and destroying them probably in the corner. I expect this character to do a lot of that online, which will be no surprise if he plays like that to me, honestly. So I'm really looking forward to it, really looking forward to seeing more. And I mean, Garou comes out next year, so I'm hoping that those characters do release later on next year, and it'll be really, really exciting. Next is Rat Rat. What do you think of this news and information, sir?
What kind of crazy timeline are we living in?
I have no idea.
Chun Li in a Fatal Fury game. If you told me this was going to happen 5 years ago, yeah, sure. What kind of crazy mod did you come up with? No, it's real. So I have been getting into using Chun Li in Street Fighter 6 a lot. I actually got her to platinum rank a few months ago. I was really proud of that because I don't play Chun Li in anything else. but playing her in Street Fighter 6 has caused me to reconsider my stance on that. I've actually made a deal with the devil and have been playing a fair amount of Third Strike as Chun Li in a game where I previously used like Oro and Akuma. Those are like ideas of the past now. Now it's all about Chun Li. So I'm really excited for her being in Fatal Fury. It's obviously because of the crossover potential. Because considering Ken has conversations with Terry in Street Fighter 6 and they're going to get their round 2 on in Fatal Fury, we still haven't had my being added to Street Fighter 6 officially yet, so we still have that conversation to talk about. I'm more excited for Chun-Li than Ken. I'm very surprised it's not Luke, because Luke is supposed to be the Capcom poster boy, but considering that only 2 characters interacted with Fatal Fury editions, because there's no way Mai and Chun-Li aren't going to interact. It's not even spoilers. Considering they had 2 characters interact with them, and it wasn't Luke, it was Ken. I'm not looking forward to all the Kens in Fatal Fury. It's going to be so weird. Big ups to this. I believe these characters are like the tail end of the season pass, so you're not going to see them until like late next year, but I have a feeling they'll be worth the wait.
Hades, what about you? What do you think of Ken and Chun-Li and Garou 2?
I think it's interesting, but like I'm kind of like guest charactered out, you know what I mean, when it comes to fighting games, because Mortal Kombat kind of started the trend, but like it's spread to every fighting game, from this to Guilty Gear to everything basically. But they're nice additions, obviously. I'm more fine with guest characters if they're like from fighting games as opposed to anything else. I think that makes more sense to me. But also I'm not like terribly familiar with the Fatal Fury like roster in general. Is there like anyone, would people have preferred like Duck King or something instead of these 2?
The Duck King? That's his
You don't know who
name?
Duck?
Oh.
Yeah, you don't know who Duck King is?
No,
I got a
no.
friend of mine that definitely would.
Rad knows Duck King. Hold on, let me post his wiki page for you guys. But like, it's like stuff like that. You know, I'm not too familiar, so I can't like look at these people and just like, this should be Franco Bash and Duck King instead. You know.
I am still a Garou like child when it comes to this particular like portion.
Oh,
I'm more of a KOF person, but I mean he looks cool. He looks fine for what it is. I wouldn't mind him coming back. I know I played like Garou on Parsec with you guys before, and I got fucking bodied, so I expect the same to happen. So I don't mind the tournament, but I'm gonna suck ass at this game. But still, you know, I think these characters are cool with their new renditions, new characters, and also bringing back people. I think my favorite is Rock Howard for sure, so that's the one I'm probably going to use as an initial character. But
Hey,
Hades,
Krauser back since villains won't die anymore.
Wolfgang Krauser?
I love Krauser. I'd love
No,
to see Krauser come back.
only
My
geese.
fellow Krauser appreciator.
I'll chisel your gravestone. Hell yeah.
Don't bring Rugal back, and I'll be fine.
You can get up by yourself.
I kind of like Rugal actually.
oh God, no, please, no Rugal.
That man gets more revived than Geese and Krauser. Leave him dead.
Lord.
Has Krauser ever been revived? I think he's just dead now.
He died in Fatal Fury 2, and it's stuck ever since.
That's
The
crazy.
one game series that does it.
That's crazy. Andre, it is your turn. What do you think of this question?
Can Chun-Li join Fatal Fury? I'm down for it personally. I mean, Ken and Chun-Li are very iconic characters in Street Fighter, so I was like, them joining Fatal Fury, I think was kind of like a no-brainer, considering that Terry and Meyer in Street Fighter 6. I do have to agree with Kaneki, though. I do think it's kind of odd Luke isn't in Garou, because I'm thinking to myself, you know, I think he can get rid of Ken and have Luke and Chun-Li, which I feel like would fit a lot better because Luke is the new poster boy, and I feel like they should kind of like do more with it because like because I think he's really come a long way since like 5, like 6. He's like I really like him a lot in 6, and I think he should definitely like show up for more games, like develop his character more. But I'm not against the inclusion. I think I feel like with the fighting game guest cares, I feel like that's like an example of fighting game guest done right. Same with like Street Fighter 6. Like it actually does make sense because those characters do because Capcom S and K have a very long history with each other, so it was bound to happen inevitably. But overall, that's really my thoughts on the match.
All right. So we're moving on to the next one. I probably don't have much to say on this one, but there's a new mod for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite called Marvel vs. Beyond, and it's floating around. It's being done by Maximilian's team, and the download was available now. Has anyone played this mod? If so, are there any changes that you notice, and is this better than MVCI? Rad, I want you to go first.
Well, this seems like the most passion project that has ever been. We all know how well received Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was in its initial launch, so obviously modding was inevitable. I haven't been paying too much attention to Beyond. I've seen the art style at least, which, man, that looks really nice. I understand why MVCI could not look like that, but it's kind of hard to get excited for modding of a Marvel vs. Capcom game when it doesn't mean adding in new characters. Still waiting on that UMVC 3 community pack.
Kaneki, what about you? Have you played this pack at all or seen most things of it? And if so, what do you think?
I tried to play it, but my laptop apparently can't handle it. But from what I saw, what is it, the direct Maximilian did, like he did his own direct on this mod. From what he did, it should have been the game MCI that should have been released instead of obviously what we got back in what was it, late 2016? No, 2017. Man, that was a trash launch. But I'm glad that him and his team are actually trying to do something about it, like trying to make people play the game again, but in a whole different way, with with different art style. And I heard they also rebalanced the game so that the combos would you would do like different stuff instead of the initial MVCI combos.
I,
Hopefully we get to see more of it in the future.
I am seeing that apparently because the mod came out, there was a spike in users, which is
Yes.
making me want to play it. Oh man, looking at the trailer as well, the art is fucking, the cell shading just does so much wonders to this game, and it makes it look less bland. Oh my fucking god, it's incredible. Yeah, I'm digging how this looks, and considering that there is a Christmas sale, by the way, so you can get like MVCI for like $7 as opposed to 60, which is why I did grab the game before, because I was like, I'm not paying this much for this shit. I paid enough on Xbox as it is. But this looks really fantastic in my honest opinion. Revamped art, better combos, moves, costumes. It looks really good. I would say if you're digging it and you want to play some Marvel, it's a good opportunity to get into it. Hades, what about you? What do you feel about this mod from Maximilian? Have you seen stuff about it or played it?
I actually have played it a tiny bit so far, and aesthetically, it's so much better now, and just all the new art for like menus and character select and just everything is insanely good, no joke. And they have like touched up a lot of stuff and rebalanced a lot of things. I think the change I kind of like the most is throws will now obliterate all red health, so command throws and regular throws, which both of those were very like unappetizing options in base MVCI because regular throws just added so much scaling. There was no point in trying to follow up with any sort of combo at all. But now they have like that utility to it, so it can. So there's a reason to actually try to throw people now, you know. And it's just there's also been like a lot of touch ups. There's like a couple stages that have been like revamped into like toss ups to the like classic Marvel vs. Capcom games. Like there's one hall that just shows like art from all of the classic MVC games. It's something you got to see yourself because it actually is like really really nice. And there's like new music in the game from a couple contributors, and it also brings in like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 music because I was messing around with Hagar, and Hagar had his Marvel 3 theme versus his wub 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 dubstep fucking MVCI theme that he had for some ungodly reason.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because I'm watching the trailer as we speak. They're showing like people that have new music, like Ultron and everyone else. Dante even a new theme because I guess they didn't like his old one. So, dude, this is fucking phenomenal. I cannot wait to buy this as soon as I can. I will be picking this up, no problem.
Yeah, it's really just a testament to a guy that genuinely liked a game that was not very well received, but kept with it, you know. Also, the last thing I do want to add is Bucky now is just on the Capcom side because if you knew anything about MVCI's roster, is it's uneven. There's one more Marvel character over Capcom, and now Bucky's just on the blue side.
He's being a traitor.
Did I hear that right? Where throws eliminate red life?
Yep, eliminate all red health.
God, they're stealing from Street Fighter Cross Tekken again.
Oh no!
Because that happened in 2013. Throws eliminated red life, normal throws at least.
With how short range throws were in Street Fighter Cross Tekken, that's actually a pretty nice change too.
Yeah.
You had to be like giving your opponent a prostate exam to hit those, and
it was yeah. It was just hearing you say that activated some type of Cross Tekken neuron in my brain.
Oh man, they learned something from that game. Crazy, but yeah, there's a change log around that has a lot of like notes and stuff like that. But yeah, just everything I've touched so far, and it's apparently fully playable in like story mode and in local and arcade and stuff. And also I think there's a bonus mode where you can play fully 2v2, 2 players versus 2 players.
I saw that. Yeah, there is a 4-player mode in the game.
Frenzy mode or something like that. Yeah. God bless. I'm still not the biggest fan of how MVCI plays, but God bless. This is such a fantastic project, honestly.
I will definitely be trying to get this and then get the game, then get the patch and see how it is. So definitely on the next podcast, we will be talking a little bit more about it in detail because I'm sure a tournament will probably happen by then. Andre, do you have any opinions on this?
Okay, so I haven't really played the mod, but actually, and shout out to my boy Blazing Ace Nelson if you're watching this. I was watching like his Twitch stream, and he was actually streaming the mod. And, like, man, it's like a huge upgrade from like MVC. Just not really from a visual point of view, but just like everything else. Like, you know, the character select theme looks a lot better. Just the game feels more rebounds. It definitely, the music sounds a lot better too. That's one that really got my attention when I was watching the stream. And also, yeah, I guess visually it looks a lot cleaner. It looks a lot nicer. I haven't played the mod, unfortunately, but I am thinking about getting MVC on Steam and like downloading the mod. But yeah, good. I'm kind of glad to see MVCI sort of have its own big comeback. Which actually, I gotta ask you guys a question: how did you guys feel if MVCI Beyond was like sort of like Evo, not like a main tournament, but like a side tournament kind of deal? How did you guys feel about that?
You think Capcom would allow that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or I feel like it might be. Well, I don't doubt the
Not
players
streamed.
do it.
Not streamed.
Like I'm sure Tampa Never Sleeps will do a bunch of like of the tournaments showing it off probably because of that. But like I don't know. It's like Project M at a Smash tournament. I don't think Nintendo's going to allow it, and I don't think Capcom would either. But maybe they'd be cool. Wait, actually, aren't content creators for Capcom not allowed to even show off mods and shit?
No, they
I
can't.
think so.
So
Yeah.
I don't think it happens. Thankfully, Max just doesn't give a fuck. He'll do whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, Max's royalties supposed to give him.
It's Max's baby. You better believe he'll show it off to the world. No offense to his actual baby.
Are
Yeah, he has a kid now, doesn't he? Fuck.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, Ripley.
Everyone's got
He's
kids. I'm so
adorable.
old.
are they cool with Maximilian or no? Because
They obviously are.
okay.
They worship that guy because like that's the biggest fighting game content creator, like Bar.
Yeah, so I
That's
figured,
true.
yeah, they would be okay with at least him as a content creator, but as for the mod itself, probably not. But Capcom has done these things in the future. I mean, in the past, where it was like they take something and they try to make it their own, or a fan does something and they give support. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. It remains to be seen. But that is a huge, monumentous like task of them just updating the whole game, even though MVCI was just like not really the best. So
I remember you talking about this. The only example I could think of off the top of my head was Street Fighter Cross Mega Man,
yeah,
a fan game that Capcom actually promoted and released for free on their website for like a minute.
yeah.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So it just I guess it just remains to be determined what they could do.
Man, y'all scared the big N right now with that.
Nintendo.
Yes.
I don't.
Oh,
if
yeah.
this was Nintendo, the word would be NO. They would never allow it ever.
Cease and desist. Cease and desist.
You can't spell Nintendo without no.
Did I catch you having fun?
Catch you having
That's
fun.
literally we're gonna send the Nintendo ninjas at you. Oh my god.
Why do you think
Like
they're
it
taking down
does.
emulators? But anyways,
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
yes.
But we're moving on to question number 7. So this is about Sparking Zero. They had their patch come out recently. New rage quit penalties. They nerfed key blast, vanishing, and there were some weird bugs like you couldn't follow up an attack on people and it didn't work. Are you happy with the state of the game now, or does it need more work and characters? Kaneki, you go first.
Okay. Outside of the rage quit penalty, but which I never experienced from playing Sparking Zero, other than like the few times in player match, but that's only a player match. I don't know if they fixed that for ranked. As for the nerfing everything else, like for example, nerfing key blast, that's a lie because you could still spam key blast before you do any type of insane combos in that game. They need to nerf that even more. Vanishing, the way they nerf vanishing was actually pretty interesting. So instead of the oh, you vanish, well I'm gonna vanish back with a with normal speed. No, you have to literally try to counter him, counter vanish him like really fast. It's like a fucking mini game. Instead of like the normal speed, it speeds up the more you vanish counter and that. As for anything else they patched or balanced with the game, I don't know if they ever nerfed where how Vegito has like one of his moves where he you could automatically vanish with him without losing. I don't know if they ever.
It just seems like to me a lot of people are kind of just not happy with how the game is turning out. They either are saying that it's stuff that needs to be really fixed that is getting really annoying online, or they didn't like the whole penalty system before, or the lack thereof rather of the system, because I think they just now put that in. So I'm kind of glad I did not get it at launch. As for needing anything else, obviously adhere to those fixes, and there are characters that people really, really want to use online, but they can't, like the what if characters. So your Gohan Blacks of the world or whatever. I don't think that you could use them in like a legit ranked match or something like that.
Just release him as a free character. People will play him.
Yeah, they need to release him and obviously give an update on the other characters to keep interest as well, because I heard that like some of the numbers for this game in terms of like player count have been going down.
Yeah.
So they need to definitely keep up the momentum, and I think a pass along with a patch that fixes all this key blast bullshit would work, and also release the other, you know, big time characters. You know, people want to see your Beast Gohans and your what if characters and all those people in general, and I think that would make a very solid update at least to what they have going on, because I think they can save it. It's just, do they want to save it, and how long will they take to save it is the main two questions you may have to ask about this.
It's more a problem if people rather go back to buggy mechanic netcode still being trash Xenoverse 2 than Sparking Zero, then that's a problem.
Yeah, that's a big ass issue right there, and I'm a stan of Xenoverse 2, but the online, my god, dude.
It's trash. I'm surprised they never fix it.
Rad, do you have anything to say about Sparking Zero?
I think between me getting bored of the story mode and the underwhelming non-Goku story paths, between the online just being a frustrating mess of not being able to defend myself 9 times out of 10, and just I unlocked all the characters in a couple of days, so there was very little incentive for me to go back, and the custom battle thing they added is just a mess of broken English. I think the honeymoon phase for this game is pretty much over before it even really got started, especially when they tried to turn it into a legitimate fighting game, and you saw the result of that. It was 19s and 20s as far as the eye could see. If you're trying to turn it into a legitimate fighting game, take 19's advice. Do not bother, it is futile.
Andre, what about you? What do you think of the state of Sparking Zero?
I don't really have anything to say on it because I'll be honest, dude. I played the game for like 10 minutes, like with a share play with a friend, and I got bored really fast. Like after 10 minutes, it's like, I mean, it's flashy, it looks cool, but it's like I think I'm past the age of Dragon Ball video games. Like I think Dragon Ball games peaked for me with okay, to date myself, Raging Blast 2.
Damn,
I'm just
that was a long time ago. God damn.
I remember
Actually-
enjoy that more than Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I remember that.
yeah, oh yeah. Actually, I did really like Fighter Z. Fighter Z was fun. I did
Yeah.
like Fighter Z for what it was.
I thought you were gonna say Fighter Z initially, but when you said Raging Blast, I was like, we going back in the
Well,
past.
Yeah,
Until they added
way
rollback for
back.
Fighter Z.
We don't talk about that because man, did they
Oh yes, we are.
man, they fucked that up hard, man. I hate it because I really like that game, but the online and rollback did not do it any favors whatsoever after a certain point. So I was just like, well, fuck it. I'll come back and play it once in a while, and then that's it. Hades, what about you? You have anything to say about Sparking Zero or Dragon Ball games in general?
I don't see the point of trying to like balance a game like that. I just think it's supposed to be like 100% stupid, and just everyone is either like, you know, a weakling or completely fuck busted. And I think that's how it should be. You know, it's Dragon Ball, the series of completely fucked up power scaling after all this time, and I don't know when it comes
anymore.
when it comes to Dragon Ball games, like I think Fighter Z is probably still the best. It's been a long time since I've played it, but I don't know. I've been playing some non-fighting game Dragon Ball games. They've been interesting to play through. That's for sure.
The only non-Dragon Ball fighter I think I played was Kakarot, and I thought it was okay for what it was. It didn't really blow me away, but I did enjoy it for what it was. So
You you want to co-op sagas together, run?
I don't think so. Something tells me I'm being set up for a trap.
Oh, let's do it, man. It'll be fun. Also, not a fighting game, but a very underrated Dragon Ball game, Attack of the Saiyans for DS. JRPG, it's fantastic.
I need to. I'll probably
Legacy
check
of
into that.
Goku 2.
Play the one with Goku on the PSP with the movie. Remember that one coming out?
Of course, that's your favorite one. Ren's favorite Dragon Ball is the movie.
No. I
Yes.
just offered it as a suggestion.
Look, you was hyped with that Piccolo, or how they did Piccolo in that live
Oh,
action
fuck.
movie.
Well, the voice actor actually did get a W. He played like
He
Zamasu
did.
later, but he said, I regret this role every single day. So I just
He
don't
did.
play
You see, you know what? No, you know what he did, Ren? That's how he apologized by voicing Samatsu. Like the best apology you could have done.
Yeah, he actually went uncredited for that as well. Just as long as I make up for that, that's fine. I totally don't care about getting paid
Like
for
he
this.
was really humble about it. I respect that.
I
I don't know if
respect.
the other actors did the same.
No, I don't think so. I think Goku's
well.
actor just dropped off the grid essentially, which I mean, yeah, after that movie, I could see you doing that. But
When even the voice actors of the Dragon Ball anime roasted that movie, yeah, I would not
ooh,
blame him for being dropped from the fucking radar.
oof. But we're gonna move to an interesting question, which is question number 8. So this whole rage quitting thing, it seems like Bamco is just having issues with it, whether it comes to taking a long time to implement one or punishing players and making it make sense. What is your opinion on this, and what is your like ideal way of implementing a rage quit system in a video game? I'll let Kaneki go first.
So why let me see. My ideal way of them with implementing a rage quit system is basically what Street Fighter 4 did, but instead of IP banning your console, I think the best way was taking away your points and then at best suspending you from playing online until a certain amount of time. I think IP banning a console though was too much, but then again, only one person does deserve that. We're gonna mention it here. What issue they're having it with it, specifically Bamco? What they're having issue with it now is the way they're doing it in the games like Tekken 8. Instead of punishing one player that the one that rage quit instead of the other guy, now they're decided, hey, you know what's a better idea? Punish both players, even though the player that did not rage quit wasn't the one that rage quit, and make them lose both of their make both players lose their points. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? Street Fighter 4 did this. Capcom did this shit years ago of how to implement a rage quit penalty, and now all of a sudden we can't fucking do that in 2024. It's a hot mess.
Yeah, I just to do my turn next. I think this is bullshit. You
100%.
you should not be punishing both people. The guy who didn't rage quit. Overall, I don't understand that logic whatsoever. I think a cool system was when KI sort of did it, where they put you in like rage quit jail for a little bit and you would fight the pluggers there, and
I
it'd
forgot
be,
they did that.
and that shit is funny. It's like once you win a couple of matches you disconnect out. That's brilliant because it puts you in a little place of purgatory, so you can still play the game and you can still experience the game, but you'll be with the rage quitting guys in the process, fighting the disconnectors until you essentially get out of jail, which is I think that's the funniest solution overall. And also, one thing I like is quitalities, where someone quits the match, they just do a harakiri on themselves, and their cameo kills themselves as well, and I win the match. And I think that's funny to fully embarrass them. I don't think it should be too extreme, where it's like you decide to IP ban someone, or they just simply can't play the game. Just put them in a place where they can play, but they're playing with people who disconnect just like them. I think that's the perfect sort of humiliation. It's like, well, I rage quit like 20 times. I'm with these guys. What the fuck going on? Oh, wait, yeah, I understand. Or I get like a yellow card on my account where it's like, yeah, this guy is known for disconnecting. So if you're fighting him, you will at least expect that. You can see
I
that
heard Street Fighter 6 does that.
yeah, you can see the disconnection rate on their profile. And I think that's another example. You should be, it's enough mocking to where it's kind of like it's on your record and the other person can see it, so if it happens they expect it. I think that's fine. What about you, Rat? What do you think of rage quitting systems and how they should get better, especially for Bamco?
For reference, I'm unfamiliar with the context of what exactly has been changed or implemented in Tekken 8 recently.
Oh, I already said it. Both players gets punished, even the one that didn't rage quit, and they both lose points.
So what is the punishment for the player that stuck it out?
They lose their points.
Oh, that's fucked. That's
Yeah.
fucked. Like, I'm just trying to play a game and rank up. It's more important to rank up here in Tekken 8 because just because there's more ranks to get through. I don't know. It's just the usual stuff. The player that disconnects intentionally is penalized with loss of points and a suspension system that stacks with each disconnection. Like, even if it's not intentional, it is still a problem, and it is still affecting actual people that are taking these ranked matches seriously. So if the onus is on you, either do something about it or kind of walk away. So this should be a standard system, but it feels like fighting game companies are afraid of alienating a particular customer just because they're kind of having a bad day or just a rough go in ranked. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, and if we want to add on top of that, that's kind of what people are estimating from the Harada tweets, where it's like he's kind of saying in a way he doesn't want to alienate these people, but in a way you kind of have to punish them and not punish the other player who didn't rage quit. So it's just like, yeah, I don't think they should have their console banned or anything like that, but put them in a place or have a flare on their name so you see their disconnection rate. I think that's totally fine. Andre, what about you? What do you think of this question about rage quitters and penalizing and how they should be handled in fighting games?
I think what Rat said, and I do agree with this. If you disconnect enough times, you get a yellow card, and basically what it is like there are two ways you can go. You either fight enough yellow cards where you get the yellow card removed, or you can wait a certain amount of time before the yellow card gets taken off. Let's say you disconnect too much, you get a yellow card for maybe a solid 3 days. I think 3 days is pretty fair. You can't really play. You can only play rage quitters for about 3 solid days. So you can either just play the rage quitters for as much as you can, maybe get it removed faster, or you can just wait 3 days and get back to the game. I think a system like that would probably work better because it's sort of like teach you a lesson that you don't disconnect all the time. But yeah, I've only really disconnected once, but that was pure accident. That was out of my control because I don't know, something was wrong with the game. I had to quit the application. So yeah, but I think you guys said better than me with the rage quitters. Yeah, that's all I really gotta say.
Hades, do you have any sort of opinion on this?
I think it's kind of dumb that in 2024 they're still having issues with a decent rage quitter punishment system. I feel like I don't know, you should be able to tell which person disconnected abruptly, shouldn't you? Or do I not understand like networking stuff?
Sometimes I think is like I can understand the one accident, maybe the one warning is like we're gonna warn you once, and if you do it again in the span of like a couple of minutes or something like that, that's clearly a person just DCing outright or their internet's not that good. But I think it works to the effect of how many times you do it for certain games. But Bamco is just like, well, just punish both people just because, and I just think that's really dumb.
I guess if the one of the parties keeps doing it, it lets you ferret out which is the rage quitter in that case, but still just feel like you should be able to figure out which person initiated the cutting, you know?
Just put him in prison, in my opinion. I
Yeah,
love the KI jail. It's so funny.
yeah, the old rage quitter islands they used to do in fighting games are always pretty nice.
But we're gonna move on to the next question. We didn't get a chance to talk about this last time. We talked about Marvel's collection on the last podcast, but we didn't talk about Capcom Fighting Collection 2 being announced. So what is your opinions on this in particular? And I want to go with Rat first.
So Capcom, after receiving several mails about why don't you release a Power Stone collection, why don't you release a Project Justice collection, said, why not all? Why not yes? So we're getting Project Justice, we're getting Power Stone 1 and 2, we're getting the Capcom versus SNK games, and we're just putting them all together into one collection. This honestly feels too good to be true. And if you pre-order the physical copy, you get a Capcom versus SNK comic. It's just, this is surreal. This is some mock-up, like, some mock-up Photoshop piece that someone put out. This doesn't feel real. This feels like something that, okay, Capcom and SNK have mended bridges. This could totally happen, but at least SNK's doing their part. When's Capcom gonna wow? I'm still putting it together in my head that this is going to happen. It's just another step on what we've been talking about, what is an incredibly obvious conclusion. CVS 3. So if any of y'all want that, you know what to do. You gotta give Capcom your money because this is a Capcom test game.
Hades, what about you? What do you think of Fighting Game Collection 2 for Capcom?
It's pretty cool that we're getting 7 great fighting games and Capcom Fighting Evolution in a collection, you know?
The fuck?
Capcom Fighting Jam.
Jam, yeah. That's the Japanese name. I don't know why I know that one more than Evolution, but yeah, like it's amazing. Obviously, they just put all the ones we wanted into one collection. I am a little weirded out that we aren't getting like default rival schools and the first Plasma Sword game alongside them. I mean, I would trade. I think most people would trade Capcom Fighting Evolution for either of those games, but it's just nice to have another collection of stuff, you know, because the Marvel collection's great. The first Capcom Fighting collection is great, and I think Alpha 3 Upper being in there is kind of interesting, as opposed to like, I don't know, why didn't they just throw in like that last version that has like Eagle, Maki, and Yun in the roster too?
Because that version is currently tethered to the PlayStation Portable.
Can they not port that at all?
It's a bit of a mess to work with something that isn't on hardware Capcom's familiar with.
Man. Well, at least Upper, which is like the upgraded like arcade version, is pretty nice, but I've watched. I also think it's really funny that I've watched a bunch of reaction videos and everyone's just like, "Oh my god!" and then they get to Capcom Fighting Evolution, they're like, "Ugh, just universally reviled game," which is kind of sad because like I think having the Red Earth characters in a game is pretty cool, you know?
I'm very sorry. I skipped over the fact that Capcom Fighting Evolution is even there. And to all the people that are going, ick, it's that game. Thank you, Capcom. Thank you, Capcom, for taking the highs and lows with you when considering what games to add to your collection. Because as mediocre and mid as that game is, it absolutely needs to be acknowledged because it was an accomplishment that we got anything out of the abandoned Capcom Fighting All-Stars.
You know what though? Like, there's playable builds of that Capcom Fighting All-Star game out there, and they should have just thrown that in there for the hell of it, you know?
Cue the Batman, where are they?
Yeah, like I swear that there's like fully playable builds that even have like Kyo and Nash in there, and it's just like, man, I would have loved to. They should just throw that in there. Collection 3, Capcom, you got it.
Yeah, the way I'm looking at this, I don't really understand why no rival schools, but maybe for like another collection. It just seems like the target is Capcom Fighting Evolution. I saw someone on Twitter say this, and I'm sure a couple of people might agree with him and disagree, but he said even the bad games need to be preserved in some fashion in these collections. So
That's correct.
yeah, but I can understand people saying, "Oh, you can replace it with something better. You could have put rival schools." Fine, I get that sentiment as well. So I'm like 50-50 with it. We're probably gonna see more if they make like another collection, but I'm just wondering what would they do at this point, because there's a lot of these, and it's like at least hitting the main notes. So you know your Capcom versus SNKs and Street Fighter alphas, and you got your Power Stone in here, which I'm shocked that they included that. So I personally think that these are good, these are great, and I'm not sure if I said this last like podcast or whatever when we were talking about Marvel, but I wish that more companies would get on the bandwagon with this notion, especially WB with Mortal Kombat, because
Bamco.
it's very, yeah, Bamco too. Sorry, I had something in my throat.
It's not like they haven't been trying. It's just they haven't found a developer they can agree with.
Yeah, which is, it's a shame, but I like this whole standard of what they're doing with bringing back older games. I think it's really great, and they also fixed the big issue where people were saying, "Oh, where's the Xbox version? We can't get that one. Where is it?" Well, now you're getting it with this, and I think it's also in Marvel as well. I think they got an Xbox version, so that's, you know, that crowd is at least satisfied now, and I think that's also pretty important. More people can play, that's fine with me. Will I be getting this as soon as it comes out? It maybe for Power Stone and all the other stuff in Capcom versus SNK 2, because I did actually really like that game, and I never played the first Capcom versus SNK. But from what people say, they say that's like sort of the beta project for Capcom versus SNK 2, so that's the superior game. I believe it 100%. But I never played that version, so I guess I can check it out. But yeah, overall pretty good. Kaneki, what do you have to say about this?
Oh man, Capcom stole my wallet, you know. Except for Capcom Fighting Evolution. That game I would not mind being preserved if it wasn't like a standalone re-release. Like I would not want this, in my opinion, I would not want it in the collection, but here we are. But for a standalone really release, I would not mind it being preserved. As for the rest of the games on the list, um, man, from Capcom SNK versus SNK 1 and 2 to Power Stone to even fucking Project Justice, even though I would not mind if they replace Capcom Fighting Evolution with the first Rifle School, it would have been the perfect collection right there. And Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, that's the closest we're probably ever gonna get for the, what is it, the Alpha 3 PSP version, because we're never gonna get that re-release. But I would say this is like a almost perfect collection. I would say this though, get it on console because that's the in longevity. That's where the majority of players will play online, especially if you bought MVC collection on PC. Like after a month, I can't find people play online on the PC version, even after the fix too.
Andre, do you have anything to say about this for the Capcom Fighting Collection too?
Very excited. I'm really excited for this one. I mean, we're getting Capcom versus. I can finally play Capcom versus Game 2 again. Just playing that game for so long, but yeah, you know, you get like Power Stone. Does it have rollback by any chance? Like, do all the games have like rollback?
Yes, I believe
Okay,
so.
okay, good.
Yep.
All right, good. We are okay. We are cash money, but yeah, I'm definitely hyped for this. Definitely gonna be buying it when it gets like a proper release date. Which I know it's in 2025, but there's no like legit date. So yeah, that's all I really gotta say.
I assume it's probably either going to be because they can't cannibalize it with Monster Hunter Wilds, no fucking way. So it's going to be a little bit after that. I would say maybe March or April will be perfect, like later on in the year. Kaneki, you have something to say?
Yeah, I need to add one more thing for the final. If they are going to do another collection, right? I want instead of doing another Capcom Fighting collection, I will want them to a one last collab collection like they did with the Marvel versus Capcom collection. Do a Street Fighter EX collection with rollback.
I take it. I'd be all down for that.
That's
I think I played EX1, but I have not played the rest of them, so that'd be up my alley.
you would like the others, especially with EX3 with the tag mode.
Was EX3 the one that was on PS2 and it had Ryu
Yes.
on the cover with his fists and it's like making these like strands? I think I've seen that cover before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'd be down to play that. But
Also had to create a character. The first one I can remember.
oh shit, okay. I didn't even know that.
Was
Parse
less of a, it was less of a create a character and here take your generic mans and give him a special move list of your choosing.
Exactly.
But Hades, you said you had a potential list of what they could do with a third collection?
Yeah, I made a video on this a while back. It actually is something that blew up, but yeah, there's definitely enough games that are under Capcom's belt. Potentially, they could do a third collection. I mean, some of these, I definitely kind of like stretched for. Because I mean, Power Stone technically isn't like a traditional fighting game, so I include a lot of weird stuff like that. But you guys just find me going over the list quickly. Is that fine?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, the first one is Techromancer. You guys familiar with Techromancer at all?
I am not. Rat, what about you?
I have a friend who is constantly bugging me to try that game, and I never have. That's the one with all the anime-inspired OC robots.
Very mecha. It's a mecha fighting game. It's very good. I played it. I played all of these a little bit for the video, but Techromancer was a pretty fun one, and it's already been brought up. The EX series for Street Fighter, I think, would make it into a collection good. At least like the definitive version of 2, maybe 3. It is something developed by Eureka, which maybe I don't think that would be a problem. I think that's something they would work out pretty easily. But EX games make it for free, right?
Have they done Cyberbots?
Yeah, it was in the first collection.
Okay. So I remember liking that game.
It's a pretty fun game. I brought up Alpha 3 Max already, but if it's gonna be a problem, like structure wise, obviously I don't think it would make it into Final Fight Revenge. Anyone ever give that one a whirl?
Rad.
I did.
Oh.
Rad's played all of these. I'm really just gunning it out there because Rad definitely played all of them.
I saw the gameplay and just it looks very funny. It's absolutely astronomical. Like a power bomb could like break the world. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yo, Hagar, if he kills you with his anti-air super, he pile drives you through the earth.
Yeah, it's like
And then he pulls out a fat stogie and smokes it. Doesn't even give a shit. The game is pretty sick, honestly. Kind of dumb though.
I assume is it mid or is it not that great or is it like a gem almost?
I think mid might be the way to describe it, but it's a really fun novelty, honestly. Like you give it a try and you probably have a good time with it, in my opinion. Saturday Night Slam Masters and its sequel, Ring of Destruction 2, another good bits that would definitely be in another fighting collection.
Yeah, you don't really see Saturday Night Slam Masters a lot. It's like in one of the Capcom arcade stadium games.
Mm-hmm.
They've never really added it to a lot of collections. I think Ring of Destruction has the character designer's name all over it, and they're probably not going to pay the estate.
Just look
It's
at the
the-
first one at least.
Yeah, it's the Fist of the North Star guy that did the designs for Ring of Destruction. So
You can tell too. It's actually kind of crazy.
it's like extra money Capcom will not spend.
This next one's also gonna have the same issue, but Street Fighter the movie, the game, actor costs.
Oh
would
my
probably
fucking
kill that.
god!
Hold on. Which version?
I don't know, honestly,
It
man.
has
I
to be
feel like-
arcade.
yeah, it probably would be arcade.
Capcom isn't going to go to the shame pile that is the console version of that, where they had to redraw the sprites that they couldn't like utilize where necessary, because it's just Super Turbo with live action.
I played it on Saturn. I remember breaking the disc. I was like, I'm done with this game. I had enough.
So if
yeah.
it's Street Fighter the movie, it has to be the arcade in some capacity.
Yeah, and actor costs, I think, like, you got to pay Jean-Claude Van Damme and Kylie Minogue and everybody. I think this is probably where like Ultra Street Fighter 4 and Marvel vs. Capcom 3 could end up with like new rollback netcode. I think that would be really nice. Oh,
In the collection?
yeah, I think it probably would be the best place to put them, unless they're gonna update it on their own. But I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think it's been long enough.
Maybe for Ultra Street Fighter 4. I don't know for Marvel.
I can hope I finally get rollback in
Like,
my
for
favorite
sure.
fighting game.
Like, if they want to, they would probably do it for Ultra, where they could just update the game with, if they want to. Because they did it for, SNK did it for Sam Show, a game that never intended for rollback, but it now has it.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken too. I think it could possibly show up, but like I don't know. That's like crossover stuff. It's gonna make it difficult, you know.
You gotta use the PlayStation version.
PlayStation. Oh yeah.
With all those wonderful characters they added.
Dude,
how much would?
Isn't Cole in that
McGrath?
game? Yeah, Cole
Yeah.
McGrath from Infamous.
And
But
Pac-Man.
don't worry.
And the cats.
And backyard and bad box art Mega Man.
Oh
And
my
Mega Man.
Oh my
It has
God.
Mega Man.
bad box art Mega Man.
Well, they
Yeah,
could just use the
It's based.
well, they could just use
Yeah.
the same Steam Xbox 360 version. You don't have to add the PlayStation version.
The Steam version that you can't play legally anymore.
It's true.
I remember,
I
yeah.
heard they were working on that though.
Yeah, let me know.
I'll keep you posted.
People will buy
Sengoku
it.
Basara X would be another one they could put into a collection, even though that was developed by Arxis, which is a really interesting thing to know.
Now, people talk about, here's a bunch of good games in Capcom Fighting Evolution. Y'all are on some dick if you think Basara Cross is anything other than the drizzling shits.
It's so Kusoge. It's so. I did a little research into it, and I learned a little bit about Mori Motonari, and he is might possibly be the most broken character in fighting game history.
Yes. Him and Hideyoshi are like, you don't get to play the game.
Imagine having a Shoryuken, but it's not your character doing the Shoryuken. It's a bodyguard that just comes out and does it for you, and that's Mori Motonari.
The fuck? How's that even work?
He summons Ashigaru with spears, and they do it. He's insane. Look up Mori Motonari and Sengoku Basara X, and it's like the most fucking insane broken character you'll ever run across in a fighting game ever. You know.
Also, if you want to put that game in there, you have to pay the band DM Revolution because they did the opening.
Really?
So that's another
Interesting.
reason why it's not getting it over.
Well, I'm cresting into the third category, which is shit that's probably not gonna happen. But Onimusha Blade Warriors. Anyone a big fan of that one?
I have that game. It's in my closet somewhere, but I don't think I ever played it. So I would be intrigued because that's one game I think I want to try for Parsec Day for sure.
Like
Is that
Smash.
I vaguely remember Blade Warriors. I saw it at like a Blockbuster once, but that was about it.
I've never played it, but is that the one where they have like Mega Man EXE?
Maybe.
I think so.
It's like a platform fighting game. It was really strange to boot up and play, honestly.
It's got to be done for Parsec Day. Got to be done.
Going on, maybe Beautiful Joe, Red Hot Rumble. Anyone a fan?
I remember that game. Yeah.
I know of the character, but I am not familiar with his games.
It's like a party game. It's kind of strange. I already brought up Capcom Fighting All Stars. If they have a build of that somewhere, they should definitely toss it into a collection, just for like we can finally get our hands on it and play around with it. One that's definitely I feel like gonna get locked down in copyright stuff is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure: Heritage for the Future.
Oh, we're never getting
You got to talk to Bandai Namco on that one.
Yeah, that's gonna be everybody that when I was doing research, the most requested one I saw was Heritage for the Future, but I don't think it happens like easily at all.
Isn't there also the Dreamcast game that was the JoJo game that Capcom did?
That's Heritage.
Yeah, that's the 2D one.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Another one that won't happen due to licensing, even though I'd like to have it back, would be Tatsunoko versus Capcom.
Oh,
so good. I love TVC, even though I'm dog water at it, but it's such a good game. And I'm really sad it's probably just stuck in licensing hell forever.
The only
Rest
thing
in peace, the concept of giant characters.
Yeah. The only thing I remember is Frank West is in that game, and there's these like sort of weird looking giant golem characters. That's all I remember.
Frank West is a real Mega Buster.
Yep.
Also, the only time you would see Alex in a crossover.
It's like
I got another Kusoge ass game that I actually really enjoyed a lot when I played it for this. Fate Unlimited Codes.
I've never heard of it.
Oh my god, it's Kusoge as fuck, but it's so fun.
Yeah. That game's acronym is fuck for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they just don't capitalize on that, because Fate Grand Order makes money hand over fist. So
I don't know, man. It's like out of all the ones I played for that video, that one was so much fun. At least, though.
Somebody's got to strike a deal somewhere.
We'll hit them up. And then I had some kind of 3D brawler ones too. Like I had Heavy Metal Geomatrix. I have no idea if you guys have heard of that one.
Does it have anything to do with that weird movie that came out in the 80s? Yeah. Okay, I vaguely I vaguely know of that movie, but I have not seen this game.
It's like Power Stone, but it's with that heavy metal aesthetic. And then the very last one I had was Spawn in the Devil's Hand.
I think for first Parsec tests we've played it. That game was actually very fun as fuck. I liked it for the most part. Just blowing people away with machine guns is absolutely entertaining to me.
It's got a whole arcade mode and everything. I think it'd be a good fit. But yeah, that's basically everything I scrounged up for a video. It's just really crazy to me that there's that much left for Capcom. They could also do a whole other beat 'em up collection too. But yeah, there's just so much stuff out there,
Oh, the beat 'em up collection again. That's an untapped well. They can put in so many more games. It's astronomical.
A lot of licensing bullshit though, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we're moving on to question number 10. So we're talking about Mortal Kombat this time around. Chaos Reigns DLC is almost over. What is your first impressions of Ghostface? That you played them and the Conan gameplay they showed so far, along with the overall rumor that this might be the end of MK1 with seasonal support. What do you think about that and the Fate Unknown rumors? And we'll go with Rat first.
My experience with Chaos Reigns begins and ends with the fact they added Sector to the game. and she's one of the worst parts of the actual Chaos Reign story, and that boils my blood. Gameplay wise, I had a decent amount of fun with Sector. It's like you splash down on people and then you do an air combo and finish it off on the ground with anti-air missiles. She's a lot of fun, but I'm not really feeling it for anyone else. I like the concept, the fan concept. I don't know if they've confirmed if it's true or not, that the Ghostface killers are Cobra and Kira.
They are 100%.
That's fucking brilliant. That's brilliant. I tried a little bit of Ghostface, not really my style of character. I could never really get the hang of, okay, you do the teleport to the other side of the screen. When are you actually active? But that's a fault of me not being able to adapt to the overall jankness that is MK1. I'm a little surprised Conan the Barbarian is considered for a fighting game in this day and age, because he's such a... That is a boomer-ass character if I've ever heard one. And it's the Mortal Kombat devs. They're big fans of science fiction. The second they got the chance to add someone like RoboCop, they jumped at the idea. So they're clearly into this era of like 80s action movies and 80s 90s horror. So any chance they get to think outside the MK box, they're taking it. I'm not really jumping at the idea of two Arnold characters, but you know, we've had this conversation before. I feel like Chaos Reigns was the point where MK1 realized their demise was inevitable, and I think I've sort of talked about this with you guys when it comes to Mortal Kombat and where they can possibly go next, because nobody wants this reboot universe, but on the other hand, NetherRealm is not going to go backwards and revive the old universe when it's been solved, figured out, pushed aside. Are we getting another reboot? I don't know. It's like Mortal Kombat's in this damned if you do, damned if you don't situation where either you follow the universe no one likes, or you go back to the old universe that is pretty much done and over with. Or you could just make Injustice 3 like you originally intended.
Kaneki, what about you? What do you feel about this?
So I'm gonna start off with the Chaos Reigns DLC before I talk about the gameplay for Ghostface and Conan. The one thing I agree with people is the fact of how they did Cyrex and Sector. They could have been just original characters or related to Cyrex and Sector, and I would not mind it. But instead, because it's another reboot universe, and this is Cyrex and Sector. I'm sorry, but that shit was not it. The only rare time I agreed with those type of people, you know, they were actually right on this, because this is not the way they do. That's not the way to do it, to introduce those characters. I think I like the new Cyrex gameplay, more better though than Sector, because I've been loving both of them, and this was before the guest characters was slowly coming out. I like Cyrex's gameplay more. The story is trash. Like, they even did Noob Saibot dirty. Like, the only actual Mortal Kombat character came back in this DLC. The only Mortal Kombat character you recognize right away. They even did that man dirty. Like, if you play the story, you would know why. Too bad I couldn't get into him right away, because it's kind of difficult to do his combos, in my opinion. Gameplay wise, it's like they made him difficult compared to where he was in 11, where 11 he was pretty much easy to pick up for the most part. Now with Ghostface, gameplay wise, he's probably the best one so far, with how you pick up and play with him, and the type of combos you could do with Ghostface, and with certain I forgot what you call them. Not revenants. You see, I lost the word because I don't play this game as much, especially when Ghostface came out. Um, my only issue with Ghostface is the damage. Like, this could have been the character for the DLC in terms of gameplay and competitive. Yet you decide to make his damage be the worst out of all the characters in the DLC. Conan, I'm waiting to see more of so far. From the snippet we saw from Conan gameplay wise, he's like a worse version of Tusk. I'm sorry. The animation, I know animation is iffy in MK1, but this is like the worst animation wise I've ever seen from a guest, especially for a guest character like Conan. Like, holy fuck, he is literally so far a worse Tusk.
And is that it for your end?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I'll go next. Uh, I've seen snippets of the plot and how I feel about Sector, at least in that regard, where she's like noob Cybot's like, you know, concubine over there. I didn't like that at all. In my opinion, it's like they just really deduced this character to just that, and that's it. And it's all over like the dialogues as well. It's not even, it doesn't stop at the story. It's all over the dialogues and all this jealous bullshit between these two characters, and it's just kind of weird. From what people said about Chaos Reigns, and I haven't played it, so I'm just getting the consensus from people. Not only do they not like it, but they said the only character that gets redeemed in the story, or the character that, you know, has the best sort of synergy, is Havoc, and that's it. And if you're not Havoc, you just get destroyed. And I was like, that sounds really disappointing. And not only that, but the price tag as well. I don't think that price tag was reasonable, being at like 60 something dollars. Yeah, I'm not, that's from other people. I'm not sure why they said they liked Havoc more than anyone else. I have to just see myself and see how it is, but at $50, that's a no. But it's on a deep discount right now, which is the funny part, after all this time. So I'm gonna talk about definitely the future and the Fate Unknown stuff, but I want to talk about Ghostface first before I go into that. So the cyborgs, I haven't played as them, but I fought them and they look interesting, especially Cyrax. So I definitely might pick her up, see how she is. But for the most part, I liked her net combos, you know, the standard stuff that you would see when playing as this character, and just doing these overall moves, skating towards people. I like that a lot. I like fighting Cyrax quite a bit, actually. As for Ghostface, I do have him, and I thought he was fine for the most part. Obviously, his damage like sucks, but playing as him is the most fun part of this whole pass, in my opinion. Doing his combos, you know, converting over to the other side of the screen, either being Kira or being fucking Cobra, the other Black Dragon member, was a little fun treat within the gameplay, and figuring out his moves, combos, and all that gave me a little bit of euphoria, despite so much of it being negative. As for everything else, and I also like the horror movie chimes as well. I think NRS does like a really good job at presentation there. Conan, definitely some rough animations. He does that Tusk like whirlwind as a combo, and I swear to God, like, I don't know if that's the only combo he has in that trailer, because he does it like 6 times. It's the only, it is literally the only move that he does, is that whirlwind move when catching people off the ground. And I'm thinking to myself, does this man have any other combos? Because I'm not really seeing it in this gameplay. I was like, that's all he does. I know people were complaining, oh, he stands still like a stone when he calls out his cameo, but I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna be like the outlier there. A lot of characters do that where they sort of get in a little animation, they pose for a second when calling out the cameos. So that's been in Mortal Kombat 1 since forever, but I can see the animation talk being like rough. I guess maybe since he comes out in later January, they'll probably have some time to work in some things, but I think some of his base moves are gonna stay no matter what. So that combo move he does, you're gonna be seeing that like 1,000 times online. The last thing is the longevity of the game. So Fate Unknown supposedly has never been wrong. He's been 100% on the money for MK1 and all the leaks that came out. So it is not looking good. But I'm still gonna say I rather would wait to see what's official before jumping the gun. I made a point about this before where, like, you know, I love Jason Schreier, for example, right? He's been the GOAT on leaks and information, but even he was wrong about a video game. I think it was Elden Ring and the release date. So even if someone is like 99.9% correct, there is the possibility of them being like 1% incorrect. So we'll see what happens with this. If they cancel support, I'm just not buying another NRS game at launch. I just feel like at this point it's going to validate those people that say, well, they only have like a 1 or 2 year cycle anyway. So why am I buying a $70 game at launch? Because if they're not going to support it that long, if it flops or fails or something, what is the point of getting it at launch? So that's going to make those people even more correct to say, just wait for the definitive edition. A year out, a year or two out, maybe 2 years later, like $30, you'll get your money's worth, no problem. I hate how that logic is just creeping in, but it's going to be so right if they kill support. If they don't, then I'll look at it this way. They do have a golden opportunity to try to make a comeback, but it's going to be an uphill battle. The next pass cannot be whatever Chaos Reigns was story-wise at all. No way, no how. It has to be on the same level as Aftermath, which people really just did not complain about, and they were fine with the story overall. But Kaneki wanted to interject next. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm glad you did answer the question I was initially going to ask you. If, like, let's say if they did kill support, like they come announce and said, well, the rumors is true. After Robert Patrick, that's it. I'll say this though, if they do kill MK1 after Robert Patrick, then I'm not buying their any more games. Like from stand on out, like their next Mortal Kombat, I'm not even gonna bother even waiting for the Ultimate Edition. I will be done with them at that point, because you know, if they do confirm this, then this is going to be their pattern for every fighting game they do. Kill support like every after 2 years of release.
2 years, 1
right.
year, yeah.
Yeah, 1 year, 2 years. No, that shit's not it.
So, like I said, my standpoint is like I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna be buying their games, but I could see why other people would say this, but I'm not buying them at like $70. It's like I can wait until bargain bin status. That ain't no issue. It's just
I'll just boycott them.
It's just gonna, and I don't like, that's fine too. It's just like, if you're going to kill support, then you deserve the lowest support possible, which is how I feel about how WB goes $5. I mean, that's fair too, as well, as Andre said in the chat. So I just think you should get the lowest amount at that rate, or used, or whatever. It's just, come on, this is just not good in general for MK support whatsoever, and that's just pretty bad, like, considering their competition is still continuing after all this time. It's like, yeah, we're successful and you're just not at this rate. So, and plus a lot of empty lies, like not a lot of people are saying anything, which I can kind of understand. Like, I do think people are pestering Boone too much, which is why he hilariously moved to Blue Sky, because this is like, I gotta get this heat off my shoulders or whatever. I can't answer these questions, but he does have a battery in his back. WB is the ultimate one who has this decision, and I think WB has been kind of trash as a publisher for the last couple of years, so I wouldn't be shocked, But at the same time, I'm gonna reserve judgment and see what happens. And whatever happens, happens, and I will make my decision from there. Hades, what about you? What do you think of this?
Honestly, I haven't heard really anything good about Chaos Reigns in terms of like the story. I watched it because this was actually the first MK DLC I did not buy. I'm not really that into MK1 either, to be honest with you. Mainly just the cameo system I think is dumb, but like it's really weird to me that the are spoilers for the story fine? Does anybody give a shit?
Yeah, I mean, it's been out for quite some time, so
I just want to make sure, but like it's really weird to me that like we we get to know an alternate multiverse Reign better than we do the actual Reign from our universe. And I don't know. I think the only really multiverse thing I liked about it was it like Colonel Johnny Cage? It's like World War II Johnny Cage. I thought that guy was pretty cool, but I don't know. The problem with a lot of this stuff in Mortal Kombat is it feels like nothing that really mattered changed whatsoever. You know, it feels like we're still going through the same paces in general, just with like a couple minor things changed. You know, just it seems pointless, and I have no idea where they go from here. Well, I had some ideas where they would go story wise, but if this is the end of MK1, well, they're not going to go anywhere, obviously. Conan does look a little bit stiff, but the early trailers never really looked good. I think we have the same problem with Ghostface. We all thought he looked like shit in that teaser, and then he comes out and he looks great, obviously. But yeah, MK1. It seems like everybody is going through their Street Fighter V arc right now. That's not Street Fighter, obviously. So, yeah, maybe they pick it up with the next one, hopefully, and can get back on their feet.
like and I'm gonna leave off on the last point. Like I said, I do agree with you on Conan. Like the initial teaser does look disappointing at areas, especially the animation, but they can always like fix all that up before January, and he could come out and just be fun to play. Like, I'm not gonna judge the full book by its cover just yet, but yes, the animations are looking rough. I feel like the multiverse thing, I don't even know if they should have even did it with this game, because I don't think anything interesting is coming from that whole equation. And for what they do, it's just like that. It could have been a lot more interesting than I thought it would be, but no. That's why people say the first half is fun for MK1 in terms of the story, and then it just gets wacky and ridiculous, and all these characters come out of nowhere, and all these characters start dying. And it's like, yeah, but I think maybe for these multiverse characters, they could just, if they're gonna go with it in the future and make a new MK, just try to give us some interesting stuff in the process. Even if you scale it, I don't know how the fuck you would scale something like this down. I just have no idea. It's gonna be tough, but you can do it. It just depends on the writers and everything else.
I don't know why they didn't, because MK11, you had the post-credit sequence where Liu Kang is hitting up the Great Kung Lao, and they didn't go with that at all for some reason.
Yeah, I think it would have been a more interesting premise if Liu Kang went throughout time and he got like differing fighters for this huge cataclysmic event or something like that. Let's say Onaga is just gonna come and destroy the whole universe, and he needs people from differing universes to fight. I think that would have been a giant interesting concept, because we never seen the BC MK fighters before ever. That's like untapped potential in my opinion. So I believe if you go on some route, maybe try to revisit this idea, have their own version of like a new Armageddon or something, and then we have to get these people from here, and we need them to fight now, otherwise the entire universe is fucked again. I think that'd be probably the best way you could save it, but I don't know. I hope for the best and I don't pray for the worst. I think that is one way to have my opinion out there and make it constructive in a sense. So, any other questions about MK1 before we move on to the other questions? Oh, you were saying something?
I got one.
You cut out, Andre.
I went.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go really quick because I think y'all said I know you guys like talking about one, and I do have a fair bit to say, but I'll keep it short. I don't know, man. Mortal Kombat just doesn't have that appeal anymore for me. It's like I think the problem with it was like they peaked at nine. Like nine was a good reboot. They had something going with 10. 11, they went this like really weird MCU direction, or like they tried being like Endgame and it just didn't really work. And I just think the stories just got worse and worse. I think to the point where like Chaos Reigns, which I'll give the Chaos Reigns real quick. I saw the whole story on YouTube. Wasn't a fan. I was like, I really hate Sector. I hate I had a good story. Oh, okay. I don't really like Sector at all. They turned her like a really annoying girl boss character. She's just don't like her. Havoc. I think they had a cool idea with Havoc, but they kind of fucked it up with Chaos Reigns and stuff like that. As for the DLC characters, I mean, Ghostface looks kind of neat with, I do think his fatality is cool, stuff like that. Conan, I mean, like, who remembers Conan? Let's be real. I mean, that movie's been out for like 40 years, and it's like, oh, let's put Conan in a fighting game. I'm sure all the kids will know him. It's like, bro.
Conan just dates Ed Boon, to be honest. Like, that's how I
Yeah.
see it. But I also don't agree with people when they say, "Oh, no one remembers the Terminator." I don't agree with that logic whatsoever.
Terminator's like, he's an iconic character for a reason. Like, Terminator and Ghostface are like iconic characters, but yeah, honestly, like, to close this off, though, it's like, I think Mortal Kombat is just, it's in a really weird spot. I don't really want them to do like another reboot, reset thing. Like, it's just, I really don't know what they can do with the series, honestly, like, post one. I mean, I think that's it. Maybe just do another Injustice game, take a break from Mortal Kombat for like a good 5 to 6 years, come back, maybe, I don't know, just something very different. Like, if they're doing this new universe shit, maybe just, I guess, hire better writers. But yeah, and if you're wondering, I'm just probably not gonna bother with games anymore. It's like after 11, I was like, yeah, I think I'm just kind of done with MK as a series. I moved on. Don't hate the games, just I gotta have them. If that makes any sense. Yeah, that's just really how I feel about all of it.
Yeah, I'm just on a wait and see spectrum because it was a lot of doom and gloom with Street Fighter 5 and then it eventually got better. But if it continues to get worse, then because one of the main things is Mortal Kombat is tailored for casual people. Like the casual people love MK, and when you're losing those numbers, that is a general problem. So I think they can rebound, but will WB allow it? That is the big fat red question mark on that idea alone, and they could potentially cripple it. They did say they want to continue more Mortal Kombat, so you have to start giving people what they want. The Shaolin monks to Fire and Ice, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Scorpion and Sub-Zero, put out that older collections. If you're gonna save MK1, spruce it up, because I think they can do that. It just depends on the effort. And then when you do your next game, make sure it turns out like a Street Fighter 6 or something, where it's just like you listen and you just get better writing. And I think they can do it, but will the willpower be there? That remains to be determined. And I think that's fair. All right, so we're gonna move on to the beat 'em up questions, because not only are we a fighting game podcast, but we also talk about beat 'em ups on this podcast as well. It's a mixture of both. So we talked a lot about RGG and Virtua Fighter earlier on, and they're also making a new beat 'em up called Project Century. What do you think of the gameplay they showed off at the Game Awards, and are you excited? And I will go with Kaneki first.
Actually, before we even start that, right, there was a question that we forgot to add in the podcast, but I
Are you
feel like
talking
we should add.
about the Gato thing?
Here comes
Yes.
a new challenger.
Oh yeah. Go right ahead.
This man released earlier today. This trailer came out.
Literally dropped this morning, and I wanted to sort of talk about it because Gato being in City of the Wolves is just a can of worms on its own. Because the first thing you see when you look at him is what he can't. Gato is blind now. And that ties into his Mark of the Wolves ending, where he's about to finish off Kane, but all of a sudden he's attacked, assaulted by Kane's bodyguard, and it's like, oh, what the fuck, I can't see. And he was completely blinded, so they're staying true to that. And I thought that that was a really neat detail, proof that they were paying attention to story elements in an SNK game. KOF would never. Gato scares me as a character the way he is right now. Looking at this trailer, he has a counter move. He has an armor absorbing move. His mix-ups have more mix-ups. His mix-ups have follow-ups. I'm genuinely scared of him right now because he was top tier in Mark of the Wolves, but considering the tool set available in City of the Wolves with systems and mechanics and EX moves, I think we're looking at 5 more years of Gato.
I don't agree. What they might do is make him mid-tier this time around because what is it? When Rock Howard was in Mark of the Wolves, when they first introduced that character, he was not good. He was like the weakest, I would say the weakest character in the game. But I think what they'll do this time with Gato is probably make him do insane shit, but probably like tone down the damage. Because at this point, if they're not gonna change him at all, and they add all this, all the bonus fancy stuff with City of the Wolf, he might as well be a busted character. He might as well not be in the game, because he might as well be busted.
Yeah, I feel like the Gale in the game he wasn't that strong in was 15.
That's not surprising. And yet Rock Howard was strong in that game.
Because Mark of the Wolves, busted. KOF 11, busted. The City of the Wolves, we'll see, because he looks strong, and I feel like the balance of the game is just out of SNK's hands because of the nature of the FGC. Just wanted to do that quick little interjection that they're still pumping out characters for this game. It comes out in April, and SNK, keep up the good work.
I will be getting it, even though I'm still a Garou baby, but I guess I will find out quick about this franchise beforehand. But Project Century, Kaneki, do you have any opinions on that?
Yes, I do actually. So we're going Yakuza style, but in the 1917s, right?
I know it's way back. It's way back. I just don't remember.
I'm pretty sure that was the year, but I'm definitely ready for this project. I'm ready for them to go back because remember the recent Yakuzas they've been, in terms of the main timeline of the game series, they shifted from beat 'em up to turn-based role-playing style, which I guess it worked in their favor because it did made them a lot of money with 7 and I think the recent one, Infinite Money, if I remember correctly. So the fact that in the new IP they're going back to the beat 'em up style, but they're going way back in like the 1900s, 1917 specifically. I can't wait to see what they're gonna provide in this new IP. 1915. Okay, thank you.
I'll go real quick because I don't have like a whole lot to say, but I have a little bit to say. It looks good. It looks fine. Although, granted, it looks like it needs like a little bit of frame rate polish. But I mean, it's a project, so that's still in the works. Still needs to be ironed out. But I really like this trailer. One of the things that I liked about the protagonist is that it's not typical Yakuza or even Judgment like fighting, where it's kind of a little bit clean, so to speak. Like people getting hit at certain points, it seems like well articulated when they're getting hit. This is just a little bit more dirty. It seems like the protagonist is like an average person doing these moves. Like people just are getting stabbed in vital points, and it looks realistic, so to speak. That's how it looks to me. And I kind of, that's one of the things that like really stood out, is all the blood and shit and people just getting thrown and bottles like smacked at their head, and it looks amazing. Actually, I can't wait to see it. One of the cool things is fighting that big brute and seeing the protagonist like struggle against him in the gameplay, where he's like falling down, pipes are everywhere, he picks up something, he stabs him, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm really kind of digging this. So this studio is starting to really impress me with the games that they're making, whether it's beat 'em ups or fighting games with Virtua Fighter now. I'm really loving the direction they're going. Even that pirate game they're doing with Majima is looking to be pretty impressive. I play Ishin as well, and I remember liking it like a whole bunch. So this studio's on my radar now for sure with what they're doing, and I can't wait to not only get my hands on this game, but to see what they do next with Virtua Fighter and everything else.
It's literally from that when I said from that Game Awards, like my thoughts on it, it's literally Capcom and Sega carrying that show along with other great announcers. They actually showed up and cooked, and I'm glad they're doing new IPs at least instead of just all the time.
Yeah, it's better to branch out and see your strengths as opposed to staying with
Hell
the
yeah.
same franchise. And I think doing all those like Yakuza games are not only helping them with beat 'em ups, but fighting games as well.
Yeah.
So Rad, do you have any opinions on Project Century?
I'm glad I'm not the only one that got vibes for Sleeping Dogs when I started looking at it. My theory of the gameplay itself is I'm getting this vibe that 90% of the game is going to be over the shoulder. Like that's the feeling I get when I'm looking at it. If anyone's one of sorts to chime in on my concept.
I guess slightly, maybe I could kind of see it, because it looks like, it's weird to say, but I'll try to summarize this. It seems like they're gonna try to diversify themselves from Yakuza as much as possible. I totally don't think that is going to completely play the same. It might be some elements, it might be some A's and B's here or there, but it's not gonna connect the same. They're gonna try to do something different.
Yeah,
If you don't mind me, sorry, Red.
Yep. I will just add my little piece while it's still in my head. I'm getting an over-the-shoulder vibe from the combat because main character beats up two people in front of him, does a quick turn to a third person that's approaching him. When he's fighting the big, heavy guy, the camera never stops looking away from main character. It's always behind him, even in the action. So I'm getting that Resi 4 over the shoulder kind of feeling, and wow, that is a mode I am looking forward to if that is indeed the approach that RGG is taking with this. And hey, 1915 RGG loves that old-timey stuff. So with the time frame that they're working on in the world they're building, I think anticipation's high for me.
One thing I was gonna say, it definitely looks more immersive. Like when I was watching the trailer, it felt a lot more immersive because Yakuza definitely does have that like arcade. It's got that arcade style to it to a degree with like the gameplay and how you explore the world. But this one, it feels a lot more like you're going through doors, you're fighting enemies. It feels more like, I guess, heavy on realism to some degree. So it is interesting. And also, I do actually, if you guys don't mind me taking this turn, I do want to go and interject this really fast, but I do have a theory. I think the main character of Project Century is probably the founder of the Tojo clan. This is Yakuza 0. This is like really late in the game, and this is like one of the loading screens. they did actually like talk about Makoto Tojo, the founder of the Tojo clan. So I thought to myself, I think maybe the character you're playing in Project Century is probably the founder of the Tojo clan, Makoto Tojo. So, because I want to say he probably founded the Yakuza around maybe around the time, at least World War II, at least before World War One. So, yeah, because I know the Yakuza existed for a very long time, or at least it was really starting to get like up there, at least during that time frame. But I think like 60s and 70s, yeah, it was really starting to like blow up. But I can sort of see it like sort of like, you know, like a prototype. So in a sense, it's kind of like maybe, I guess, a far distant prequel, if that makes any sense from what I've seen so far. But overall, I really love what I'm seeing. I'm really excited for this one. Definitely want to see more for the game. But yeah, that's really all I gotta say on Project Century.
What the fuck, Discord? Apparently Discord did not want to play my audio. All right, I am here. Hades, what do you think of Project Century?
From what little is out there, it looks pretty interesting, honestly. RGG is a pretty solid studio overall, so I think any new project coming from them is pretty exciting. Now, I'm honestly more excited for Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, or whatever the hell it's called. It looks a lot more fun, more my speed, honestly.
All right, I guess we're gonna move on to the next one. Yeah, Discord cut me out. Fuck you, Discord. But we're gonna move on to the second one. Now, apparently, they have some insane. We're gonna answer these two questions. So they have an insane release date for Double Dragon Revive when they announced when it was coming out. It's fucking coming out in October of 2025. I just find that to be a little bit ridiculous. And they also had their DLC for Shredder's Revenge, 2 characters, Mona Lisa and Mondo Gecko. What do you think about this whole premise? We will go with Mr. Andre first.
My whole premise. Okay, I'll take this one. I haven't played the Shredder's Revenge DLC. I do love the game. I do want to get it. Play the Mona Lisa Mondo Gecko DLC. Definitely get it. As for Double Dragon Revive coming out in October, I don't know, man. Because okay, so unless like something like GTA 6 or like I don't know, Death Stranding 2 comes out, I think it's gonna get overshadowed because like I want to get why like if they're pushing it back to like fix the game up considerably, okay, I can understand it, but it's like I think it has to be really careful not to launch like during a really big gaming week where like it's like Grand Theft Auto because it's Grand Theft Auto is pretty much gonna just take precedent over like everything, unfortunately. So, but I mean, Double Dragon coming out in October. I mean, I think as long as it avoids like a certain like if it's like a week or two after GTA, then I guess maybe it'll be fine. But it's really not good to have games cannibalize each other if they come out around the same month usually because that's happened like many times before in the past. But from what I see in the recent trailer, I do like what I see, and hopefully the game does improve a lot over the next following months. But that's really all I gotta say.
I'll go next then. As for, I'm gonna start with Revive first. So what a lot of people are saying in the comment section is that they feel like some of the gameplay presentations for Double Dragon, just the way that it works with this sort of omnidirectional camera style with moving around and everything, and it's like on a 2D plane, but you can move around everywhere. That's the best way to sort of summarize it. It's kind of weird, as opposed to just being straight 2D like Neon, and it's kind of throwing people off a little bit, wondering, oh, you can move around in the background, how is this going to work, or how are you going to do combos of this nature and have it be consistent? So maybe they're finding a flaw with this movement and they just can't get it down, and they need the long ass development time. Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This is like a long ass time away. To me personally, if they were gonna say, oh, we're not having this game come out until October of 2025, I think personally there was no reason to even announce it. Just you should have said 2025 and kept it there. But I think making the month makes it worse because then it's like, holy shit, like how much development time do you need for this game? Like what is the issue? What's going on with it? And I think it's that movement that they're trying to do in 2D, which is way too complex, which is why it's taking them like way too long. But the recent gameplay looks better. I'm not gonna shit on that. I think it looks fine for what it is. It looks grand. It looks cool. They just need more time to cook, as opposed to like something like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, for instance, that was said in the chat, where that came out and that immediately impressed me. I wasn't feeling the same about Revive whatsoever. But you know what? I'm all for polishing the game. It's just kind of disappointing to wait that long, and as Andre said, I feel like games waiting till like mid or late 2025, you're going to run into the beast that is GTA 5. I mean, not GTA 5, GTA 6. When 6 comes out, a lot of reports are already saying that developers are trying to avoid the release date of that game. So I think what you're going to see is a lot of games have an announcement, and then when they announce their release date, you're gonna see a lot of games get delayed. Like, yeah, it just, we've seen that shit happen so many times. It was kind of happening in 2023 as well, when Alan Wake and Spider-Man were kind of like on the same week, and then one developer said fuck it, we're delaying. I think it was Alan Wake. So you're gonna see a lot of that with this game. It's gonna be kind of hectic and crazy for people looking forward to like multiple games at the same time. All I can do.
Another example of that is Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yes.
They moved Pirate Majima game because they said, hey, we're going to release this earlier to give you a little leeway for that game.
Yeah. And it's not surprising because the reports that I'm hearing about that game is going really, really well with developments. I played the beta, it was fun, and a lot of people are saying, oh, the beta problems are like, all the problems with that game are like fixed. So that means that it's going to be one of the earlier 2025 hits that comes out later in the year. So I hate when this happens too. It's like, it's gonna be juggernaut after juggernaut on top of each other, and then you have to make a decision. What are you going to choose? Because more than likely, like, something's gonna get overshadowed eventually. It's just inevitable at that rate. But like I said, I hope for the best. As for the Shredder's Revenge DLC, I enjoyed the base game for what it was. I am so happy they're actually adding more characters to this game. I'm not familiar with the Mondo Gecko or Mona Lisa, but they look fun to play. So I think if characters look fun and I'm not too familiar with them, I'm totally fine with that. I just want to see how they work, and hopefully, like, one of the things I think this game needs is like maybe a mode or something to play with. You know, I don't even know if they're gonna do a versus thing. I don't think that's their intention, but if they release something and you can just fuck around in it, that's totally fine. And these two characters look pretty cool, so I have like no issues whatsoever. I just hope that they keep supporting it, or maybe even eventually come out with a sequel, because I think this game was like really good and slept on by a couple of people actually. But that's it for now. That's all I kind of have with that as well. So I mean, Rad, do you have anything to say about this?
Well, I can't really get excited for Shredder's Revenge characters because it's not like a character in Streets of Rage 4 dropping where I wonder what they're going to play like. I wonder what their style's going to be. I know exactly how these characters are going to play. They're going to have punch combos. They're going to have specials. They're not really going to have anything that's going to set them apart from the bunch. They're going to have statistics. And I feel like that's going to be the problem with Double Dragon Revive, is that the beat-em-up genre is well taken care of with Streets of Rage 4, with Shredder's Revenge holding things down, and considering we got the lovely, surprising Double Dragon Gaiden Rise of the Dragons not too recently, you have a benchmark to live up to, and I'm not sure Revive is up to it, because everything I've seen of it makes me think bootleg, makes me think poor craftsmanship, makes me think cash-in, makes me think Hong Kong company. And I really hope my expectations get shattered, because if any franchise could use a revival, it's Double Dragon and Final Fight, but we're not ready to cross that bridge yet.
You know, this is my wild prediction, so if it comes true, I believe that with all the stuff Capcom is doing with revivals and everything, it would be a cool opportunity for them to get back into the beat 'em up genre. Like, I think now is the best time as ever, because if they made like a really good Final Fight, pump it with a lot of modes and characters, you know, fucking Cody and Lucia and Hagar and all those people, I think it could really not only succeed what Streets of Rage 4 did, but put it on a whole new level. It seems like these developers are trying to make the 2D or 2.5D sort of like beat 'em up style come back, sort of 3D looking, and Revive is just kind of not doing it for a lot of people. So I think that's what they want to do. And plus, Sega's also making Streets of Rage Revolution. That's like a 3D beat 'em up brawler. I guess we'll see how that goes, but they want to kind of go back to that, and I'm just not sure if they could pull it off. It's like, to me personally, I would be more happy if Bamco made another Urban Reign than most of these games coming out, even though I'm looking forward to some of them. So I don't know, it's a wait and see progress in my opinion. Hades, do you have any sort of opinions on this?
I mean, it's nice to see Shredder's Revenge still get some DLC here and there. I definitely think that's one of the better beat 'em ups that's been coming out as of late. And for Double Dragon Revive being so far out, I think you take as long as you can possibly take to develop a game, honestly, because it can come out too early and not be well received. There was that Rita's Rewind game that came out pretty recently. It's a Power Rangers game, and on release, apparently that was terrible. They've patched it, so it's better now, but it's better to just take that extra time to make sure the game comes out, good.
I'm waiting for the price to drop on that. I think $35 is a huge ask for a retro Power Rangers beat 'em up.
Yeah. I agree, honestly. There's
when the bar is 25.
25, I think, would be fair for it, because there's this kind of a janky, like, weird one that I want to play called We Could Be Heroes, the side-scrolling beat 'em up, and I look at it and that's $25, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to spend that. And I look at the Power Rangers game, it's like 30, 35, man, come on.
There's also, it seems like to me, and I don't know if anyone else noticed this, but it seems like to me that there is a lot more of like indie studios coming about and making like brawlers and beat 'em ups, and they turn out to be like just a lot of variety out there. So I'm seeing like a bunch just pour out. Like, if you don't believe me, look at the Reddit for beat 'em ups. They are advertised all over the place. And I was also fucking upset and disappointed that the studio making Sifu decided to make a goddamn soccer game and not Sifu 2. One of the most disappointing announcements I think I ever seen at the Game Awards, because when you see the back of that guy's head, you're thinking, oh shit, a Sifu sequel? Nah, it's soccer. I'm just like, I'm so disappointed inside, but that's my little tangent. It's a big genre out there, and they're doing a lot to it, and I think they do want to revive 3D like so goddamn bad. They can taste it, but as Hades said, it needs time and application, and hopefully they take all this time to do it, because they got like a whole year of development. I'm like, holy shit. So that's how I feel about that. Hades, do you have any other final thoughts? Oh, you're right about Golden Axe. I saw that in the media too.
Yeah, I played all the Golden Axe games from my channel, and seeing there's a new one coming, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I would have preferred, like, the Streets of Rage 4 treatment, but I'm sure it'll be fun, at least,
Yeah, I remember playing that with the guys on Steam, and that game was pretty enjoyable. I like Golden Axe a lot. Andre, oh, you have anything to say, Hades? Any final thing?
I said GOAT. Just GOAT. Golden Axe is great. I love it.
I agree after playing it. Andre, do you have any final opinions on this? Did you go yet?
The Double Dragon and
Yeah.
the not really, to be honest. I think you guys explained it way better than me. But yeah. But like I said, in chat though, the indie scene with beat 'em ups has been excellent. Like we've been getting a lot of really good stuff. Like Midnight Fight Express, for example. Like that game was done by one guy. Think about it. One guy did that game, and with the amount of crazy stuff that happens in it, like, bruh.
Also, fuck them for
Other than
taking
that,
it. They took it off Game Pass.
yeah.
I hate it.
Damn, that sucks. Okay, okay, gotcha. But that's all I gotta say. I'll let Kaneki go.
All right, Kaneki, it is your turn. What do you think about these new beat 'em ups? Double Dragon Revive, their trailer announcement and the release date announcement is coming out October next year. And what do you think about the Shredder's Revenge DLC?
I can't say anything about the Shredder's Revenge DLC because I never have it. I never bought it at the time it was out, which ironically is on sale right now for like less than $4. But I don't know the characters they added. I know they were, if I'm not mistaken, they were in the game story, but I never know the characters personally.
Are they like OCs or are they actually characters in Teenage
No,
the
they were
cartoon.
actual characters. Yeah, they were in the cartoon.
Oh, okay.
They're just mid-season additions like Mona Lisa, Mondo Gecko.
Okay.
I figured Mondo Gecko would have a little more like groundswell than fucking Mona Lisa does.
I just think once I unlocked Casey, that was it for me with characters. Well, outside of the other DLC they released, but that's the only character I use, Casey and Mikey. But anyways, have not tried him yet, so I can't say. But for the Double Dragon stuff, let me tell you my theory of why they delayed it that far for Double Dragon. I think it's because of the graphics, like the engine they're using for that game, right? I think it's because of that. I could be wrong.
I know people are shitting on the graphics, so it could be a possibility. And I also think it's the movement as well. I think the movement they just are not sticking.
I mostly think it's the graphics because if I remember correctly, it reminds me of when KOF or when SNK was going back. Was it when they introduced KOF being returned to the series with 14 and how that graphics turned out in that game and it was ugly as shit. So I'm thinking that's probably a big reason why, one of the big reasons why they delay it. As if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy looks like a Kyo from 14. Like, why that nigga look like Kyo in 14? He's ugly. I'm not shitting you. Look at him when you watch the trailer again. Tell me he doesn't look like Kyo. Like, that's not Jimmy, bro.
I think a mid-season graphical update is probably going to happen sooner or later. I just have a feeling with this game. But is that
That's all I
it?
gotta say.
Oh, okay. Okay. There was another beat 'em up that was announced that I can't remember. I'm sure it's probably gonna hit me after the podcast, but
Was it? I don't remember.
I don't remember. No, I think what I really wanted to say, it wasn't that. It was the fact that they did release that other DLC pack we did not talk about. I think it was the Karai one and all the other characters.
Yes.
I think when I unlocked her and I paid for that, I think that was cool because she was like one of my favorite characters from that pack. So they keep like just enhancing the game overall. I mean, I probably will get another bundle, but it is like Rad said, like there's sort of a pattern with these characters that Streets of Rage 4 kind of just did a little better, but the Karai pack was the last one I got.
It needs to come with a new mode because I've beaten the arcade mode, I've beaten the story, I've beaten the little roguelike they've added. Even if I get these characters, I don't have anywhere to use them. All the ground has been treaded.
Can we like fight each other? Like that was really fucking fun when we did Streets of Rage 4. The
Shredder's Revenge. There is no versus.
Yeah,
There's no versus mode.
yeah, let's fight each other. Like, why can't they add a versus mode?
Why can't they make
Also-
a new fighting game?
Yeah. Actually, Streets of Rage have another mode over fucking Shredder's Revenge. Training mode.
That's true.
Yes. Yeah, because there's reason to use it because that game has depth.
Yeah.
You guys really want another Tournament Fighters?
Yes.
Fucking shit.
That would make money, bro.
Hades, you like Tournament Fighters?
I like the SNES version.
Okay. That's
Did you ever play the Genesis one? Not very good.
Actually,
no.
didn't we have someone in here that was remaking that game, but adding the boss characters and stuff?
I think he was. He did like an entire overhaul of the game in terms of fixing it and everything. And he added Shredder, all these other people. He added those characters. I think he also made a version where, and I want to play this too. He made a version where you could play with the Tournament Fighters characters and also like DC,
Yes.
and it's called Tournament Fighters versus DC characters. I don't know which DC fighting game those characters are from.
Probably the
But
one from Genesis.
It's
Yeah.
TMNT cross JL. I
Yeah.
think.
yeah,
Despite it being task force based, I think it's original sprites.
yeah, and that Genesis game is the one that he used the sprites from. So I am curious to probably parsec that along with all the updates and patches and see how that is. Because I
also-
Task Force Genesis will be the day I mysteriously call in sick.
Also, there is another thing in Shredder's Revenge forgot to add.
what?
You notice the name of the game, Shredder's Revenge? How do we still not have Shredder playable at least?
You can play as him for like a minute in the roguelike mode.
Only in that mode.
Yep.
Man.
Well, you can't have Shredder fighting Shredder.
Well, they're like,
At least-
this is too overpowered.
Can I at least play the human form?
No.
It's like
Can't
this,
even do the bare minimum.
This is too overpowered. We can't have all this shreddering going on here.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Streets of Rage 4, Shiva, Shiva, before they nerfed him, and he still made it.
I have a feeling if they put him in, it'll be a villains pack, and then they'll nerf his ass immediately. Watch what I'm telling you.
Yeah, like post-patch DLC.
But I think
I'm still upset about the Shiva shit.
I'm-
But go ahead.
we probably need to go back to that game too. Streets of Rage is fun on Versus, but we're probably going to sign off here. It was a ton of fun, interesting fun. As for when we will be back, I'm assuming it's going to be either around or a little bit after Bleach Rebirth of Souls. So obviously whenever we start hearing stuff about Evo again, which is bound to happen, we will be back with fighting games. I'm sure they're going to talk about, you know, the new character for all. Fuck, we already know who that new character is. I forgot. Anna.
Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
I do remember the
I'll believe it when I see it. Lipstick on a missile doesn't equal Anna, it equals trolling.
You sure though?
Sure.
I think they're self-aware.
You sure?
I think they're fucking with you.
Because I don't know, it just seems like they could put that on there and then it's like, oh, straightforward, it's her. But
No, what? Okay, if they really want to troll, it could be their third sister.
oh fuck no, come on, man.
Cecilia Williams.
Is she in the same timeline as the Tekken monks that we totally knew about?
Oh,
my
you're right about them doing
I'm
that.
Might
my
as well.
prediction. It'll be
No,
her
it
name
would be.
is-
No, she would be a. She was the first Tekken monk female.
It's Ganryu. I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Okay, Brad, level with me here. Buddy, just level with me here. So, the people that said this character was going to be a guest character, do you believe all this BS where they said, oh, well, it could be potentially another guest, and it could be one from the Resident Evil series? And when I first saw that, I was like, I
Ada
don't.
Wong.
Ada Wong, I don't. That
Yeah,
would be
boy.
hype though. I'm not gonna lie.
That would be. I would be hyped for that more than Clive. Not gonna.
yeah, that's what Tekken needs. More guns.
Oh boy.
I think one
She'll just
gun
be
user
Nina.
is enough.
Nina?
Victor.
She'll just,
Oh.
yeah, 3. That's right. Yeah, you're right. She'll just.
Well, remove him and replace him with Ada. We'll be
Remove
fine.
Oh.
I am on board the remove Victor train. Can I buy a ticket to that, please? Because we have Clive. It utterly neutralizes him.
I think for
Yeah.
the Tekken 8 podcast, I don't think there was many people that like Victor. I remember that completely. It was like,
Bro, he has a gun, a knife, and a sword all at once. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to
he's
do
just-
against him?
He's Crown Eater, the character. That's what Victor is in a nutshell.
Frown, try hard character.
Well, unless you're on
He's the
Dragon
guy who's trying to look cool for the crowd. It's like, look how cool I am. I have all the cool gadgets.
Like, unless you're Dragonov, I don't know when you're supposed to fight against him. Well, actually, no. Clive now, since he's busted.
I'll just say for the record, if it's Ada, I don't mind it really. I think it'd be cool if it's Nina. I mean, not Nina, Anna. Two sisters get mixed up.
It's too nostalgic. Let's go with Leon.
Well, if they did that, that'd be amazing. But then again, it's like so many Leon cosplayers in the fucking game.
One thing is for certain, he'll have the greatest grab animation in the game.
Suplex?
Suplex.
I'd be for it.
Oh god.
If it was Leon, then how would it explain the kiss mark?
Well, she does give him the missile at the end of RE4.
It's in the victory pose.
Man.
It's like the victory animation. The you win, and then yeah.
And then she gives him the missile, and then that's it. And
How about you don't explain it?
Rad is just trying to will all this stuff into existence.
No,
because
he
it
wants-
didn't work the first time.
No, but listen, all he wants, he didn't want, I mean, what is it, Tifa isn't in Tekken, so now he wants Resident Evil to be in Tekken, the next code.
I mean, it's not wrong. You're not
It's
wrong.
the first Capcom franchise I would consider for Tekken. Maybe one where the fight is not necessarily final.
One more thing.
Man.
Do they owe Harada like any favors or whatever? Because I remember seeing Uno like on stage and they shoot him off. I think that was a gag, but do you think a Capcom
No, that was
character...
a trauma.
Yeah, do you
It
think
was a troll joke. I don't know, it wasn't with Capcom at the time.
Okay. So, but do you think Capcom was gonna like put in a character in Tekken?
No.
No.
Interesting.
It's like you got Akuma.
And
And they witness Akuma. They're like, never again.
It's like, well, we're not putting Akuma in Street Fighter V. You can have him.
fuck. Well,
I remember that.
It's like I kind of don't want another. I don't want another guest.
Dark Age
At least
Capcom.
another Capcom.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
god.
it's better sell your digital copy then, because guess what you're getting more of in the future.
I think
Oh.
if he's not a Fireball character, I'd be fine with it. Just don't pick those because we had enough of those in Tekken.
Akuma and Geese bullied that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Community.
if you put me on the production staff, I'm already throwing Hagar in Tekken. I'm just full disclosure.
I fuck with that. That's a good idea.
That's based. I'll take it.
I would see
Yeah,
Hades
that'd be
stream
fine.
Tekken 8 just for him.
Seriously, both punch buttons.
Absolutely.
Both punch buttons together. Lariat.
Still, if Hager was in Tekken, I'd be down. Be fun.
It'll be the dream match no one expect, but actually wants. King versus Hagar.
Mhm.
Who grabs more? Find out in the next
War
fucking turn.
versus Heihachi.
I'd be fine with that.
Okay.
But we have fun predictions, fun analysis on this podcast. We're gonna end it here. Like I said, we'll be around near Bleach, Rebirth of Souls, and see what they have cooking later on at Evo. It's gonna be a lot of news, but you know I'm all down for it. So we're gonna do outros. You can find me on Blue Sky at Rent Operative. Honestly, I've already migrated from Twitter, so you can just find me on Blue Sky. And my social media links will be down in the description. You know, Twitch, YouTube. I'm not hard to find. It's very easy. Rat, what about you? Where can we find you, buddy?
You can't find me on Twitter anymore. I nuked that son of a bitch last month. I'm looking to the skies, the future. You can still find me on bsky at radrad.bsky.social and my YouTube channel, Radrad's Rad Games, where I've just started the Chun Legacy, going through video games that Chun Li fights people in. At least most of them.
Andre, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me on Twitter at Andre B Venom, and I'm also on Blue Sky. Definitely showing Blue Sky more on Twitter because Lord of mercy. I mean, I still use Twitter for like some mutuals there, but other than that, it's like I'm good. I think I prefer Blue Sky, but no, find me there, and I'm also on Instagram. That's really about it. Yeah, about it really. Yeah.
Hades, where can we find you, buddy?
Twitter, Hades_Manticore. I'm on YouTube, City State Manticore. And I do have a Twitch, it's just Hades Manticore. I haven't streamed in forever, though. I'm going to try to start picking that back up next year, basically.
Kaneki?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Blue Sky under the same name, Google Order. Although Blue Sky, I think you just type my name and it'll be there. I don't know why they decide, or actually, no, not decide why it has numbers, but that's besides the point. One thing I gotta say is, Junin Hayandayo.
New voice actor too. That's the first thing I noticed.
I forgot to mention that. Like, who's voicing Akira in this one?
We just don't know, but he's definitely not the same as it used to be. It was like a slight discussion as well, like people saying, are they gonna bring back the cheesy lines? And well, I don't know.
I'll say this: they'll bring it back, but they have to eventually give them new voices because they're not going to use the same ones.
The Dream, full English dub.
Oh God,
it's time.
I mean,
if Yakuza has a full English dub, so can Virtua Fighter.
Guys, you know, what'd be funny? Imagine they get Ben Starr as Akira in Virtua Fighter.
The fuck? I'd be like, man, you were Clive and now you're Akira. Like, I'd be like, I'd be for it though. He's a cool dude. He's cool.
Oh no. So he'll be British Akira. Got it.
You couldn't beat me in 100 years.
Yo, if they do that, I'm laughing.
I laugh so hard. That'd be great. But if they could pull it off and still have the Japanese dubs like they usually do, that's still fine. I don't mind it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely a lot to look forward to Virtua Fighter as well. We're gonna sign out. We will see you guys next time. Hopefully you enjoyed this podcast and more fighting games in the future. Live long and prosper. We'll see you later.
I gave her Tekken 8. Namu.
You know what I friggin' forgot? I forgot to talk about the Street Fighter 6 balance patches recently that came out with a couple of characters getting nerfs and buffs. I decided to play this little excerpt after the show. It was a post-show discussion talking about that conversation at hand and catching at least some of it. So it's a little bit of a PS at the end of the podcast. Anyway, I hope you enjoy it and have a Merry Christmas. I've seen Ryu do like significant damage to people. It is absolutely astonishing. And then they decide did they even touch Ken? Because I believe that they didn't.
No.
Figures.
Not to my knowledge.
Ken's
I know they nerfed Cammy. Like, yeah. Remember some of the bullshit she can do? She can't do that no.
Good.
It's like one of her mix-up options is just not existent now.
Yeah, because that shit was busted.
Honda got a very respectable buff in that standing heavy punch is now +1 on hit, so he can cancel into a sumo stance, which is really good. Yeah. But I don't know if that guy ever actually becomes a character. I don't think he plays. Oh, actually, a lot of the changes this patch are extremely good for him, so maybe he'll start being relevant. But it's one of those things where I just don't think it happens.
As a signature Honda hater, I just want to say, fuck you, Capcom, because I hate dealing with them.
We'll eventually accidentally hit Abigail status, and then we'll be fucking glorious for that 4 months.
Wait, did they buff Luke?
No, I think Luke's,
Actually, yes.
Oh man, that's
Often win.
I didn't even see the Luke changes. That they nerfed him a bunch, and he's just completely irrelevant
He
now.
has a new link to his level 3 now.
that's good for me because I like Luke.
Yeah.
And then they completely. The only thing that I heard left is that they cut off Ed's balls. Like Ed is just
Yeah.
non-viable. That makes me furious.
I'm
dude.
happy.
Ed is no
I'm
longer
happy.
a man.
He's no longer a man.
boy.
He is a shrimp.
It's now a
Well,
eunuch.
that's what happens when you make grand finals at EVO. They cut your legs off.
Finally, one less character to worry about.
Oh
Yep.
my fucking
But
god.
all I was finding online was just Eds, Kens, and Akumas. Thank God.
I know they respawn.
And now you're gonna fight Kanakumas and Ryus.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
boy.
like nothing's changed.
The cycle continues, but in a different way with the Street Fighter 6 patch.
The Shotos will continue until morale improves.
Oh.
And will at least.
That
Well,
being said, Chun Li
well-
got a buff to her Serenity stance, so just a new juggle is in play.
Him
Oh, that's a
actually
good-
won a lot in that patch too.
Terry also got buffed as well. I'm
He
kinda
needed
fine.
it.
Yeah, he needed it badly.
Wait, who buffed?
Terry.
Terry.
Oh yeah, because they actually listened to the community and they're like, all right, let's buff him.
Yeah.
Much needed.
We spent all this money getting him in the game. We might as well have him be shown off at our events at some point.
Now, buff Mai too before she comes out.
I think I have a strong feeling Maya's gonna be mid when she comes out. I'm just calling it.
It depends on how tricky she is. It depends on her attack angles. Because the way she is now, what she got? Slow fans, Ryu Embu that only hits in front of her,
Like-
Musabi no Mai for a dive attack, Ninja Bees for a dash that will get punished on block like nobody's
Well,
business.
How mid we're talking? Because there's mid, and then there's Lily.
Lily's not even mid. Lily's not in the game.
Non-existent.
Lily's not in the
She doesn't
game.
exist.
She might as well not
Lily,
be. She's the worst character in the game.
The only Lily in
Lily,
fighting games nowadays is the one in Tekken.
Oh my god.
her.
man.
Yeah.
And she's
Like, I
and
see-
she's still in like top tier, not god tier like Jin is right now.
I swear
Like
the
fucking
gold.
like nerfed Manon. Well, I don't know if they nerfed her, but I would say even a nerf Manon, you see more than fucking Lily.
Yeah.
That's how bad Lily is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think
Shit.
It's Lily as a character because she's like who?
I
Shit,
hate.
even,
All they had to-
e-
All they have to do is make her like play like T-Hawk. No, give her
It's the
her own
closest
shit.
you got. It's the closest you got. You got dives. You got 360s. It's
They're
just
not
you
even
got- you
good.
got- You got a wind gimmick, which is the only thing that makes you a real girl.
Well,
I hate Manon.
That's,
I hate Manon.
I don't see.
I tried to play her and I was like, yeah, I'm not vibing.
Oh, come on,
with
Ren.
this character, so
Come
I
on, Ren. You
dropped
don't
her.
like hearing her when you're fighting her, or matter of fact, her level 3 when she sings.
Let us
I
begin.
love that.
I just get
Oh my
fucking
God.
thrown and killed. That's the only thing I'm
Manon is
hearing.
the easiest character to fight in the world. Her weakness is neutral jump. She can do fuck all about it. It's like, what can she do? Crouching heavy? It's like, he ain't beating nothing with that. It ain't winning any air fights.
I guess is Ken like her worst matchup?
I wouldn't really know about matchups.
Well, Red knows a certain character I use as a weakness.
Like, Akuma's a bad time with her. Bison's a bad time with her. I would assume Ken is just... I would assume Ken's a bother.
Oh, Bison got nerfed. I remember that. He got nerfed.
What did they nerf? What did they nerf Bison with?
It's apparently it's one of his moves that was like really like broken in top tier. They just took that shit out.
Which one?
I think it was his diving move, if I'm not too mistaken. I might be wrong about that.
Oh shit! That's damn.
But
That's a fucking bummer because I use Bison.
I know it's a move that could be easily looped, and they saw the exploit and took it out.
Mm.
So I'm just like, well, that it sucks, but I kind of use Terry a bit now. I think my Bison kind of sucks. I need to go back to the lab. Because I used to be really good with him, and then as soon as I stopped playing as him, I just dropped off the radar completely.
I just kind of stopped playing Terry. I couldn't really make any magic happen with him.
I got a few rage quits.
He's in gold 5 where he will stay.
Yeah.
Unless
I'm
I get
almost
really
Damn.
bored.
If it wasn't for that one, what was the player? I
That
forgot
one
what player.
expletive.
Yeah, there was a one player someone used. I could have had him at master, but fight.
I don't
That one
know.
fight fucked it up for me.
I don't know how far I will advance after getting gold. I want to try it again, but I just been doing casual stuff until I get my groove back, and then I'll go back to rank.
Yeah, you just have to hit that one hot streak, and you'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Like once I hit platinum with Bison, I just took a break from the game for a while.
Yep.
When I come back, I'll probably pick up Chun Li.
I got Chun to platinum a few months ago, and I was like, yeah, I'm just retired.
Dude, I literally, I feel like as soon as they gave me Bison Plat, because I was like a new challenger beforehand, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, how the fuck? Because I don't get how I got it or this whole ranking system.
It's depends on who you beat.
Yeah, it had to, because I believe I fought, I don't know if it was a diamond, but I think that was the day I was gloating that I beat that guy, and because I beat that one dude, I just automatically got pushed into platinum.
Yeah, if it was a diamond, you just get into the platinum club. Or if you pounded on a bunch of golds.
Probably that too, because then after that, I just remember losing like 4 times, and then I automatically just got it. I was like, platinum 1, what the fuck is this?
Because I went 50-50 on golds with my Manon placements, but I beat 2 platinums, and that was enough to get me to platinum 3.
Mm-hmm. But interesting ballast patch overall. There's some things I like, and some things I don't like. Clearly,
it's a patch. It's still Street Fighter 6. Everyone's waiting for Mai.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Are you excited for my rat?
I don't think I'm alone in that department.
I know Kaneki is.
No one is alone.
Very excited.
Listen,
I'm
brother.
excited.
Listen, that's my wife. Okay.
Okay.
A wife.
That's
One
the
of
wife.
Kaneki's many wives.
Just like JoJo's is Chun Li.
I think
Uh,
I think JoJo's wife is another man from the JoJo series.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean
Yo,
Dio?
that's crazy.
Dio, yeah, because he said you want to
is it?
marry him, so.
Isn't
Listen,
that
if-
more
I'm taking Chun from him is the thing.
Oh,
I'm
well, he ain't gonna be
like
hot.
that.
More than he is now.
Jojo don't like that. He'll be pretty mad.
Listen, if I was like, you gotta pick which male characters or you want to go out with, it's Dio. I'm surprised he didn't pick fucking Haku. A more pretty, attractive character than fucking Sakura.
I knew that was going to be
Oh my
said.
god.
That fucking that episode was crazy. A boy prettier than Sakura. That's a different type of shade right there.
The greatest anime roast of all time was that.
I confuse you for a girl because you're more prettier than Sakura.
I'm probably gonna see how this balance patch worked out and fight more Akumas as soon as I can. Fucking hate it.